Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook. Job transfer for all people. I became a mythical beast master at the beginning. Chapter 61. What? Did the water orb react? Chen Zan was startled when he heard the prompt. If it wasn't for the game prompt, he would have almost forgotten about this artifact. It is said that the 5 elements orbs must be gathered together to open the mythical secret realm, and you can receive mythological tasks when you enter it. When he first got it, he did spend a lot of time looking for it. But from the beginning to the end, there was no news at all. Well now, as soon as he entered the Diamond Tower, there was a reminder. Could it be that the 5 elements orb is on this floor? Thinking of this, Chen Zan hurriedly released the 6 little guys and ordered them to start a carpet search around. You might actually be able to find the 5 elements orb. As for the LV-10 wild monster guarding the first floor, it was accidentally touched to death by the active Xiao without even using its skills. But even so, Chen Zan still stayed on the first floor for nearly 10 minutes before heading to the next floor. There is no way. The reminder only tells that the water orb has a sensor, but it never says where the water orb is hidden. Chen Zan didn't want to really miss the other 5 elements orbs because of his carelessness. On the second floor, a LV-15 wild monster rushed towards him. Chen Zan didn't even look at it, so he waved his hand and asked the contracted beast to deal with it. Then, without his order, the 6 little guys started to disperse, continuing to carry out a carpet search around. In this way, Chen Zan, who was supposed to increase the number of layers quickly, turned out to be a mess slowly. In a blink of an eye, nearly 5 hours passed. There are only 3 hours left in the 8 hours, and almost 90% of the candidates have already completed their own college entrance examination journey. But instead of being deserted, the entire examination center became more lively. Because all the candidates are waiting for the end of the final exam, the recruiters of the major guilds will appear and select suitable candidates to join the guild. And after missing today, if you want to join other guilds, you can only find a way by yourself. Therefore, any candidate who has a little chance should not miss this opportunity. Looking at the constantly refreshing big screen leaderboard, all the candidates couldn't help talking. It seems that there is no suspense this time. Xiao Haong, the #1 scholar in Tianjiao, has already been booked in advance. That's right, it's been 5 hours, who else can surpass him? The 38th floor. My God, it took me a lot of effort to climb up to the 7th floor, and even a fraction of it is not enough. It's more than that. I've knocked out all the blue potions, and I've only reached the 6th floor. Didn't you see that those who can reach the 15th floor and above are already in the top 100? I really don't know how those people did it. Just as everyone was feeling emotional, suddenly someone pointed to the big screen with doubts and said, "Hey, didn't you find out, is there a bug in the ranking?" Bug? What bug? Don't be kidding, this is a ranking directly dominated by rules, how could there be bugs? If you don't believe me, take a look. The one ranked 96 is just on the 15th floor, right? But he should be 95 above him. Why did he become 94 all of a sudden? Isn't this a bug? As soon as someone reminded them, everyone also looked at that position, and they really saw the difference. Between 94th and 96th, there is really no 95th. No, I can't say no, to be precise, there is a string of blanks, and there is no data at all. Such a strange phenomenon could not help but cause a commotion among the crowd. Soon, even all the teachers in charge of the exam on the 2nd floor noticed this situation and conducted an investigation. But after sending out the mechanical failure, they really didn't know if it was a bug or if there was really such a candidate in the Diamond Tower. Impossible, it must be a bug, otherwise you can see that it has been standing here for a long time, why is it motionless? There are teachers who are categorical and authentic. I agree with Mr. Lee. So far, I haven't seen any candidate who can block the investigation of the Diamond Tower. Yeah, I also tend to think it's a bug. Anyway, it doesn't affect the rankings of other candidates. If it was a human, it would have been sent out so long ago. Maybe it's still inside. This is even more impossible. Why is it not moving inside? I noticed just now that this space has been parked here for at least half an hour. Hearing what he said, the teachers didn't know how to refute. However, just when all the teachers thought it was indeed a bug, suddenly, the space that had been there for half an hour actually moved. Dozens of people were directly moved, and they appeared directly at the original position of 68 people. And the 67th place above it is surprisingly the last one on the 16th floor. It moved. How is it possible? Seeing this scene, many teachers couldn't help being surprised. I just said it must be a bug, but it started jumping in a blink of an eye. However, the situation of the opponent's beating is too similar to the candidate's progress to the next level. Just when everyone was extremely puzzled, Chen Zan stood in the space on the 16th floor, looking at the wider space around him. He really felt dizzy. It's too hard to find, isn't it? When I was on the upper floor, it took me nearly half an hour to search with 6 little guys, but I found nothing again. However, every time he went up one level, he would hear the reminder of the tremor of the water element orb. Isn't this torture? Find this floor again. If you haven't found it yet, you can't continue. Chen Zan looked at this vast forest and whispered to himself. He knew that he didn't have much time left. If he really kept looking for it, he might not be able to finish it after the college entrance examination. He searched for the small venue before, but the space behind it was getting bigger and bigger, and a few hours was not enough for him to waste time. If he was teleported out, why wouldn't he be able to come back? Wait, are you coming back? Chen Zan's forward figure suddenly stopped, as if a flash of inspiration flashed in his mind. Yes, how did I forget it? He suddenly sounded. He can't find it now. At worst, he will come back and continue to look for it later. Others may not be able to get in, but that doesn't mean he can't. Chen Zan, who has an anchoring hand, only needs to leave an anchor point on each floor. Can't he be teleported back at any time? Snapped. Chen Zan slapped himself on the forehead suddenly. How did he think of such a simple solution until now? As long as the anchor point can be left, the anchored foot can be effective. So, without even thinking about it, he activated the anchoring hand on the 16th floor. The result was an exceptionally smooth completion of the anchor point. Chen Zan, who came to this conclusion, immediately relaxed completely. Now it's easy. As long as he can quickly go through each floor, he doesn't have to worry about losing the 5 elements orb. As for the previous layers, he had already searched for them anyway, so it didn't matter if he didn't. Hey, the team is closed. Chen Zan shouted to the 6 little guys throughout the space. With a swish, 6 little guys appeared one after another in no particular order. Okay, now it's time to step up. On the other hand, just as Chen Zan discovered the new method, the entire test waiting center couldn't help but discuss again. Look, it's not moving again. It must be a bug. Yes, that's right. Even if it moves, it's just jumping randomly. Isn't it a bug? Maybe it will jump down after a while. Mr. Li, am I right? Not bad. I still insist that it is a bug. After all, there has never been such a possibility of completely hiding all my information. Doesn't that amount to breaking all the rules of our game? I'm afraid even 9 cycles may not be able to do it, right? Quote. It makes sense. Let me tell you, everyone should focus on other rankings, not this bug. That's right. You see, Xiao Haong is already on the 39th floor, and he is only 1 floor away from reaching the 40th floor. I don't know that when the teacher said it, all the teacher's eyes would immediately move accordingly. Compared with this incomprehensible bug, the record of the champion is more interesting. However, at this moment, suddenly the vague space started to move. With a swipe, the non-existent space jumped up on the leaderboard again. In just a flash, he leapt forward by a dozen places and ranked at the 50th place. It actually improved again. How is it possible? Isn't it a bug? Which examinee is it really? Impossible. You see, it stops here and doesn't move. That's right. If it can move again, I'll broadcast it live. I don't know if this great cleverness was unlucky. As soon as he finished speaking, he saw that the space moved up a few places again, becoming the 45th. Snapped. Invisibly, it was as if a slap was slapped on the face of the speaking figure, with a crackling sound. It's the 18th floor. Oh my god, can't it be an examinee? Impossible. I don't believe it. I absolutely don't believe it. It can't jump anymore. If it jumps again, I'll do a handstand twice. The figure who had just been slapped in the face roared again. However, snapped. Just talking, the other party started to beat again. No. 43. This time, before everyone could open their mouths, something even more unbelievable happened. That space is like riding a rocket, it just stops in place for a few seconds and then jumps again. No, 41. No, 38. No, 35. ... In just 2 minutes, it jumped dozens of places one after another, and came directly to the 10th place. How is this possible? This can't be true. There must be something wrong. How can a candidate climb up to the 20th floor in such a short time? That's right, there are all wild monsters above LV60, no matter how strong they are, they won't kill them instantly. Everyone looked at the 10th space in shock, and the 9th place above it was Mu Shui, who had reached the 21st floor. However, just when everyone thought that the space had stopped, it unexpectedly jumped again at a hurricane speed. 22 floors, 23 floors, 24 floors, ... Soon, when the spaces surpassed the top 9 candidates one after another, there was a short pause just now. But this time, everyone felt their scalps go numb. Even though the space has stopped, it does not mean that its number of layers has not changed. Because, the candidate who was originally ranked second had only 29 floors. The first place above it, Xiao Haong, has now reached the 39th floor. Such a gap is not because the space has stagnated, but because it is still rising, but because it has not surpassed the first Xiao Haong, it has not changed at all. Is it really a bug? At this moment, even everyone who had been emphasizing that this was a bug began to waver. If it is really a bug, then this bug is too real, right? But if it was a real person, it would be too outrageous. Who can rush through more than a dozen floors in such a short period of time? No one can answer this question. In the end, everyone can only forcibly classify it as a bug as an explanation. At the same time, this bug was already standing in the space on the 32nd floor. After Chen Zan casually left an anchor point in this space, Xiao Shui had already dragged the corpse of a wild monster over. Okay, go to the next floor. It was only when Chen Zan came in that he discovered that there was only one wild monster guarding so many layers. Even if he killed it, it didn't explode much. Therefore, since there was not much time left, he didn't bother to wait any longer. After not needing to find the 5 elements orb, Chen Zan's speed is simply amazing. Even without using skills, the wild monsters were instantly killed by Xiao Shui. In terms of melee combat, although the little guy eats like a Garfield cat, his attack power is terrifying, and he doesn't even have a chance for the other little guys to make a move. In this way, Chen Zan seemed to be taking a walk, rushing through the 33rd, 34th, 35th floor one after another, and broke through the 40th floor in a short while, rushing towards the higher floor. And just when he stepped through the gate on the 40th floor, the name of Xiao Haong, who had always been far ahead, trembled strangely, and finally became the second place directly under the shocked eyes of everyone. Second, Xiao Haong is second. An uproar erupted in the crowd. Unexpectedly, after waiting for less than 10 minutes, the opponent was completely overtaken. Now they can't see any information on Xiao Haong, but everyone knows that there is an invisible number 1 in that place that doesn't exist. And this first place has surpassed the 40th floor, or even higher. Just at this time, a light flashed in the teleportation array, and a figure walked out with a little regret. Xiao Haong let out a sigh of annoyance. He didn't expect the wild monsters on the 40th floor to be so strong. He used up all his blue potions, and he didn't kill the opponent. In the end, accidentally, he was consumed to death by the other party. Forget it. 39 is the 39th floor. Xiao Haong comforted himself in his heart. At least he felt that the title of the number 1 scholar in Yunzhou belonged to him. As his figure appeared, many people also noticed Xiao Haong. However, it was completely different from what Xiao Haong had guessed in his mind before. Those examinees looked at him without the slightest shock or admiration, and some of them were just kind of weird. That's right, it's weird. Why be weird? Xiao Haong's face didn't fluctuate much, but he was extremely puzzled in his heart. Shouldn't they surround him with flattering faces, marveling at why he was able to achieve such a result? In doubt, Xiao Haong instinctively turned his head to look at the rankings on the big screen. With just one glance, he froze in place, as if struck by lightning. How is it possible? I am second. How is it possible? He blinked hard, feeling that what he saw must be an illusion. But when he looked at the screen several times, he could clearly see On's ranking, which was still second. Second, 2, comma. At this moment, this ranking has even made Xiao Haong forget everything, and this voice keeps echoing in his mind. It never occurred to him that after working hard for so long, the clown turned out to be himself. What exactly is going on? Xiao Haong almost popped out such a sentence through his teeth, but no one could give him the answer. While Xiao Haoyang's mood was fluctuating, Chen Zan stood in a vast jungle, looking at the wild monsters rushing out densely, showing a smile. Does the group attack start on the 50th floor? He grinned, this way the harvest will be higher, right? As he spoke, he waved his hand and said to all the little guys. Go ahead, let go of everything except the forbidden spell. Chirp, meow, meow, ah, ho, woo. Reminder, you killed a blue-eyed jackal LV80, you get +1 experience value, and the contracted beast gets +1 experience value. Reminder, you killed a red-eyed jackal LV81, you will get experience value +1, and the contracted beast will get experience value +1. Comma. Chen Zan stood in place, listening to the notification sound and constantly swiping the screen, while watching 6 completely different scenes blooming in the whole space. On one side the flames blazed, and the trees were reduced to ashes. On one side is a world of ice and snow, completely freezing everything. On one side, the distorted shadows turned into sharp blades and began to harvest. On the one hand, the sharp edge of a knife cuts through everything. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Xiao Ke opened her mouth and sucked wildly, souls were devoured by her uncontrollably. This scene looked horrifying. Finally, the newly added small martial skill can be even simpler. After a khaki light flashed, the area where it was located was instantly crushed into powder. Even the wild monsters inside will not be spared. Just like that, in just a few minutes, the entire 50 floors were completely emptied. If this speed is seen by other candidates, I'm afraid they will be scared to death. That's a bunch of wild monsters. Regular candidates, even mages, need to attract monsters a little bit, and then eliminate them a little bit. But like Chen Zan, who directly used high-rank skills to scrub the floor, let alone seen it, he had never heard of it. A brief glance at the harvest showed that these were only silver-level wild monsters, and did not reveal the epic material Chen Zan wanted. Seeing this, Chen Zan didn't stay any longer, and went to the next space with a single step. 51st floor. Tyrannical Iron Crocodile, Silver LV85, end in 1 minute. 55th floor, Thorn Blood Bat, Silver LV90, end in 2 minutes. On the 60th floor, the Devil Spider of Despair, Silver LV95, ends in 3 minutes. The 65th floor, 71st floor. After Chen Zan walked up to the 75th floor one after another, he gradually discovered a problem. Time, not enough. According to the current situation, Chen Zan only has less than half an hour left to finish, and he wants to climb to the 100th floor. According to this speed, it is not enough at all. Snapped. Seeing this, Chen Zan snapped his fingers, it's time to show the real technology. 72nd floor, Rock Porcupine, Silver LV115. Chen Zan looked at a large group of tall and strong wild monsters with pig heads. Different from all the wild monsters before, this time they encountered humanoid wild monsters directly, and even the opponent seemed to have enough intelligence. It's not that the moment Chen Zan appeared, he was surrounded by tens of thousands of porcupines. Stupid human beings dare to trespass on my porcupine's territory. They don't know how to live or die. A rock porcupine leader with a height of LV120 roared even more. Give it to me. As soon as his words fell, tens of thousands of porcupines rushed away wielding the bone mace in their hands. Just at this moment, a rather cute little turtle crawled 2 steps very slowly, and the next moment let out a deep whimper. Woo! Boom! The whole space trembled violently with that inaudible whimper. The next moment, the porcupine who was still rushing suddenly felt that the light above his head began to dim. They raised their heads subconsciously, and they saw that the entire sky had been completely filled with huge boulders like mountains. They were panicked and terrified. In the face of this kind of natural disaster, even if it is just a wild monster, it will be frightened. The head of the rock porcupine leader's eyes widened incredulously. Such a terrifying skill has almost surpassed its cognition as a wild monster. No, with a bang, the huge boulder as large as a mountain filled the entire space at once. Even all the rock porcupines were smashed into meat. Forbidden curse, Wanyu Skyfall. Even, in an unknown and inexplicable space, the shining pagoda suddenly trembled, as if it couldn't bear the power. A few unfortunate candidates were even more affected by this shock, and were directly torn to pieces by wild monsters, ending the exam. Without waiting for the aftermath to end, Chen Zan already put away all the things that exploded and left here, heading to the next floor. When they got to the next floor, Chen Zan didn't look at it at all, and it was the next little guy's turn to make a move. Boom, Forbidden Curse, Wang Nirvana Flame. Done and called it a day. Forbidden Curse, Ghost Shadow Thorn. Call it a day. The Holy Dragon Burial in the Ice World. 3 Call it a day. Just as Chen Zan led a group of contracted beasts to open the way with forbidden spells, and moved forward quickly. On the other side, the Invigilation Center, which had been waiting for a long time, was in complete chaos. What's going on here? Is the blank space an examinee? Now I'm completely confused too. You say it's not an examinee, right? Xiao Haong is already second. That's right. How long has it been since Xiao Haong became number 2? It hasn't changed. I think Xiao Haoyang's title as the second son of 10,000 year is completely confirmed. If you say that if he is the second child in the end, then who is the number 1 scholar in Yunzhou? It must be a space. Xiao Haoyang is the second child. But what if the space is really a bug? Then Xiao Haoyang is also the second child. Who can say that he is not the second child? When you say that, I'm speechless. In the waiting test center, Xiao Haoyang's lungs were about to explode when he heard the discussions around him. He is the dignified son of the Zhao family, the number 1 examinee in Yunyang City, and the most powerful challenger for the number 1 scholar in Yunzhou in this college entrance examination. But now he was regarded as the second child, but he still couldn't refute it. It is tolerable, which is unbearable. Brother Zhao, calm down, it's just a bug. Lang Xinyue is still comforting own Zhao big brother at this time. On the contrary, Mu Shui, who was next to him, kept searching the big screen. Strange, why hasn't Chen Zan's ranking been found yet? Could it be that he ranks so low? Mu Shui was probably the only one who cared about Chen Zan's grades in the entire college entrance examination. But she searched for a long time, and found that the lower the ranking, the smaller the text of the ranking, and there were even many names, and she couldn't see them clearly unless she looked closely. Instinctively, she couldn't believe that Chen Zan would have such poor grades, but she couldn't find him. No, I can't just be tricked by a blank space like this. Zhao Haoyang growled with a livid face at this time. I want to appeal, and I must find out how to remove the bug. His voice resounded throughout the examination waiting center, and immediately attracted the attention of many people. If someone else gets angry at this time, I'm afraid no one will pay any attention to it. But Zhao Haoyang is different. He has a profound background in Yunyang City, and his own achievements are indeed outstanding. The question he raised, even many invigilators have to think about it. Student Zhao, we also want to prove it, but there is no way to find out whether the blank is an examinee or a bug. A teacher tried to calm down Owen's emotions and tried to persuade him. No, this matter must be resolved today. Zhao Haoyang said without any hesitation, this is not only about my own achievements, but also the honor of the entire Zhao family, and even grip of Titan. How can you draw conclusions at will? If you can't figure it out, then send someone who can make a high-definition one. Quote. These words were so merciless that the teacher who just spoke had an ugly face. But just as he was about to continue speaking, he suddenly heard a faint laugh resounding from outside the crowd. Don't be impatient, there is always a way. With a bang, everyone followed the prestige and saw a fat old man with a big belly and a smile on his face walking towards him. Principal of No. 1 Middle School, the invigilator this time. That's him. There's a good show to watch now. Maybe he really has a way to solve the blank space problem. The old man seemed to be very prestigious in the entire Yunyang City, and as soon as he appeared, many teachers immediately saw hope. Director, how to solve it? When the old man reached the second floor step by step, many people couldn't help asking. It's very simple, use real-time projection. The old man smiled and looked at the high-spirited Xiao Haong below. Real-time projection is a unique function in the Diamond Tower. You can select any candidate on the ranking list for projection in real time. This makes it easier to check whether candidates are cheating or not. However, if you want to enable real-time projection, you must have the LV5 permission, which happens to be the old man. Quote, he said and pointed to the big screen in the distance. As long as I choose the first place to project, if it is a bug, then the projection will fail. If it is not a bug, but a certain candidate, then the space where the other party is located will be directly projected. Therefore, you only need to try it out to know what you are concerned about. Quote, hiss. After hearing the director's words, everyone suddenly woke up, and their eyes couldn't help but be curious. In case it is really a candidate, they want to see who is so good. Then what are you waiting for? Director, let's start quickly. Yes, start now. We want to know the truth. Not only candidates, but even many teachers became curious. The number one mysterious exists, whether it exists or not. Okay, I can use this permission, but I want to remind everyone that each candidate can only use it once. In such an atmosphere, the supervisor did not delay, but raised a hand to open a light curtain in front of him, and then entered a series of information. A miniature leaderboard appeared in the light curtain. His hale and hearty eyes narrowed slightly, and he raised his hand to touch the blank space above Xiao Haong. They only felt an invisible tremor, and then everyone saw the entire big screen change instantly, as if they had traveled into a strange space. Seeing this scene, many people immediately exclaimed, successful, it's really a candidate. My God, I want to see which floor this candidate is on, and who is he? Hurry up, why can't you see clearly? I'm so anxious. The brother who said it was not a bug and did a handstand twice in the live broadcast is ready. A real man keeps his word. Oh, I've already cut it, I'm not a real man. You're still ruthless. In the eyes of everyone looking forward to it, the misty space suddenly became clear. At first sight is a vast ice field, and the sky is full of wind and snow. Before everyone could figure out what was going on, there was a sudden roar, the ground cracked, and a huge figure over 100 meters high jumped out of the ground. He is tall, like a building. His entire body was covered in ice, his face was ugly, and only one single eye stood out. Seeing this figure, many teachers immediately exclaimed, Frost Titan, it's a star-level boss of LV-180, Frost Titan. How is it possible? Frost Titan is a terrifying boss on the 100th floor. This is impossible. What? Not only did this candidate surpass Xiao Haong, but he even rushed to the top floor. This time, even the voice of the supervisor changed. He rubbed Owen's eyes vigorously, to make sure he read correctly. That's right, that is the star-level boss Frost Titan. That mysterious candidate actually made it to the top position. Almost instinctively, the supervisor began to manipulate the screen to find the figure in the vast ice field. Throughout the ages, among the candidates who have taken the Diamond Tower College entrance examination, no one has ever been able to climb to the top. This scene was seen by him, even if he tried his best to find it. But just at this time, the originally windy and snowy day in the picture suddenly turned dark, as if entering the night sky out of thin air. The night sky is not completely dark, but stars continue to emerge one after another, and the stars condense, covering the sky in a blink of an eye, as if forming a vast star field. And in this star field, countless starlights suddenly erupted and turned into extremely bright rays of light to shine down. In just a moment, the picture in front of him seemed to be destroyed by a terrible force that could not be stopped. And at the moment before it was destroyed, someone saw that the roaring Frost Titan boss was pierced by countless stars before it even had time to react. What? A Xingyao-level boss was killed by a single skill of the opponent. The entire test waiting center was completely silenced by this scene. At this moment, there is only one thought in their minds, the top boss of the instant second, you tell me that he is an examinee. At the same time, in the wind and snow world on the top floor, Chen Zan looked at the completely shattered hourglass in his hand and let out a soft sigh. Oh, sure enough, there is only one left. This is a consumable item that he got in the Goblin Kingdom before, the hourglass of time that can be rotated. Because he used forbidden spells to climb to the top one after another, not only did he completely use up all the forbidden spells of himself and his friends along the way, and completely entered the cooling period. There are even 2 bosses that Chen Zan made the 6 little guys fight to win. In the end, for the sake of safety, Chen Zan used this prop without hesitation. I thought it could be used again, but I didn't expect it to shatter completely. And just when Chen Zan thought that a forbidden spell had completely killed the Frost Titan in seconds, suddenly, the ground cracked, and a brand new Frost Titan jumped out from the ground again. Refuses to die. Seeing this scene, Chen Zan immediately frowned. Hey, why is this gone? At the same time that Chen Zan instantly killed Frost Titan, the entire testing center exploded completely. Everyone stared at the picture that had been restored to the leaderboard, and the shock on their faces was beyond description. They never expected that this time the real-time projection actually directly saw the big boss on the 100th floor. What's more, he didn't expect such a terrifying Frost Titan to be instantly killed by a terrifying force in just a short moment. That kind of shock can hardly be described in words. Xiao Haong had already froze in place at this moment. A voice kept echoing in his mind. Is that really a student? That is a star-level Frost Titan. If he went in, he would probably be slapped to death in less than 2 seconds. But the other party actually instantly killed him. Impossible, impossible, how can a candidate be able to use such a strong skill? Xiao Haong muttered in a daze, rationally telling him that there must be a top professional who entered the Diamond Tower. But if this is the case, it should affect all candidates in the entire Xia Kingdom. It is impossible to only affect Yunzhou candidates. Many teachers and even the supervisor began to analyze it with a face full of shock. In the end, with the unanimous approval of many teachers, the person who ranked first and could not see any information was a mysterious strongman from Yunzhou. Yes, this is absolutely impossible for candidates to do. Even if there are candidates, they must have used some extremely terrifying equipment. This kind of equipment can burst out a very terrifying skill attack at one time, so it can directly kill the Frost Titan in a short time. But whether it is a mysterious strongman or a candidate, it is already certain that the one ranked first is by no means a bug, but a real person. In this way, Xiao Haong can only sit down as the second child. Seeing that he has really become the second child of 10,000 years, Xiao Haong can only feel a mouthful of blood churning in his chest. In the end, I couldn't help it, and squirted out. All go. I'm so angry that I vomit blood. There's no way. After all, he went for the #1 scholar in Yunzhou. It's normal if he can't bear it. The second one is pretty good too. I'm so angry that I vomit blood, and my mental quality is too bad. Yeah, looking at this state, it's because he didn't have the first place, otherwise it would be embarrassing. Puff. Hearing the many comments about own, Xiao Haong spurted out another mouthful of old blood, shaking his whole body. This is not right with the script I had in mind. I don't agree. I don't agree. He really wanted to ask that mysterious strongman to come out and reason, but his reason told him that the other party might be able to crush him to death with a flick of a finger. It just suffocated him to death. Just when Xiao Haong was extremely aggrieved, Chen Zan frowned tightly as he watched the Frost Titan standing up again. Resurrected, and stronger than before. As soon as he thought about it, he directly glanced over with the eyes of Yuanchu. Frost Titan, Xingyao. Race, Titan. Level, LV 200. Life, 91,000. Magic power, 15,900. Power, 4,550. Agility, 780. Spirit, 1590. Skills, Resistant Skin, Level 4, Giant Wield, Level 5, Battle Cry, Level 6. Battle Power, 400 stars. Frost Titan, which was obviously only LV 180 before, died once and turned into LV 200. Chen Zan felt that this was too weird. But seeing the other party continue to roar, he rushed towards him with big strides. He can only raise his hand again. Forbidden Curse, Earth Flame, Calamity, Calamity. There was a bang, and the ground cracked. This time, before the Titan came, the ground under his feet had completely collapsed. Terrifying magma rushed out of the ground like a fire dragon, turning the whole world into a sea of flames. Ah! The Frost Titan howled and was completely swallowed by the magma, and died completely in the blink of an eye. Hint: you killed the Frost Titan, and gained experience value +1. The hint has already appeared, Should I die this time? Just as doubts emerged in Chen Zhan's heart, he suddenly saw the ground shaking again. Ah! With a roar, another frost titan that was taller than before appeared. Again, Chen Zhan's eyes widened, and this time, before the other party fully appeared, he cast a forbidden spell. Nirvana heart inflammation. Ah! Frost Titan only wailed a few times in front of the forbidden spell, before turning into ashes again. Chen Zhan looked solemnly at the ashes floating in front of his eyes. After using the hourglass of time, he possessed the ability of 7 consecutive forbidden spells. Have used it 3 times now and have 4 left. If there is another resurrection, he will consider leaving here temporarily. Wait until the next cooldown period has completely passed before coming here. But this time, the expected resurrection did not appear. Just when Chen Zhan thought everything was over, suddenly a bright light fell from the sky. Before he could react, he was enveloped directly. Chen Zhan was about to cast a forbidden spell to protect himself, but who would have thought that a light would flash in front of him? He actually teleported directly to another space. Huh, this is... Chen Zhan looked around, and not far away, he found a platform carved out of an ancient circular rock, and there were magic waves constantly lingering on the platform. And at the very center of the platform, there is an extremely green jade-like round bead on it. The rich light emanating from it actually gave Chen Zhan a feeling of incomparable comfort. 5 Elements Orb. Seeing this bead, Chen Zhan instantly thought of this possibility, and immediately opened the Eye of Yuan Chu to look. Wooden Orb Myth. Category. Props. Basic Effect. Life Recovery plus 1000%. Durability. Never wear out. Additional Effect. Collect all the 5 Elements Orbs, you can open the mythical secret realm, and receive mythical tasks. Haha, it really is the 5 Elements Orb. Chen Zhan finally burst out laughing when he saw this message. Isn't it because of this 5 Elements Orb that he walked for so long? Originally, he thought that this mythical orb was hidden somewhere in the entire Diamond Tower. Unexpectedly, it was actually a space above the 100th floor. It's no wonder that no one can get it. To get the orb, not only kill the Frost Titan, but also kill it 3 times, so that you can climb to the 101st floor and get the wooden orb. Chen Zhan also thought about why Frost Titan could become a star-level boss in this diamond-level pagoda. He previously suspected that this tower was not a diamond-level secret realm at all, but a star-level secret realm. But when he saw this wooden orb, he fully understood. The reason why Frost Titan is like this must be because of the influence of the wooden orb. It's all right now, the wooden orb has fallen into my hands, and the future Diamond Tower will become a veritable Diamond Tower. With a thought in his mind, Chen Zhan took the wood element orb over. It seemed that because the distance was too close, he suddenly felt his own transfer space tremble, and the water element orb before the next moment unexpectedly resurfaced uncontrollably. The 2 orbs seemed to have some kind of incomparably powerful attraction, and they touched each other under Chen Zhan's gaze, and then a stream of light spread out from the place of contact, enveloping the orbs in an instant. In this way, the 2 beads are connected together. At this moment, a reminder appeared in Chen Zhan's mind, which surprised him. Reminder: you have obtained 2 5 Elements Orbs, which will open the only time limit mission. Task Name: Record Crusher. Task Introduction: no one can easily obtain the 5 Elements Orb. To own it, in addition to luck, one needs to be sharp enough to cut everything before being able to win the favor of the gods. Lucky professionals, be ready to accept tested yet. Mission objective: break any 5 epic level secret realms to refresh the fastest record, and keep it unchanged for 5 days. Task Reward: Golden Orb. Task Time Limit: 1 month. Mission Failure Punishment: take back all 5 Elements Orbs. Another orb. Chen Zhan was pleasantly surprised when he heard the prompt. He had thought about how long it would take him to collect the 5 Elements Orbs. Unexpectedly, after he got 2 orbs, he actually activated a time limit task. Once this task is completed, it will greatly increase the speed at which he can open the mythical secret realm. But the difficulty is really high. Chen Zhan looked at the task list and couldn't help sighing. The mission objective requires 5 epic secret realms. What is the concept of an epic secret realm? That is a secret realm that only rank 7 powerhouses can challenge, and even many rank 8 bosses will brush epic secret realms in order to find materials or equipment. But now it's alright, Chen Zan, a third-rank professional, is actually going to brush the epic secret realm. This level of difficulty, if other professionals know about it, I'm afraid they will be scared away. Moreover, once he fails, even the 5 elements orbs he originally obtained will be forcibly taken back. In his opinion, this task is indeed extremely demanding. But in fact, this task was not originally prepared for third-rank professionals. Even the rules for issuing the task did not expect that Chen Zan, a third-rank professional, would be able to release the forbidden spell. In this regard, Chen Zan is not too worried. Anyway, the mission still has a month to go. Wait until the matter here is resolved, and then join the 9th level guild of Yuling Pavilion. At that time, both own strength and mana will be greatly improved. At that time, it will not be easy to complete these tasks. Putting the 2 5 elements orbs glued together into the job transfer space, Chen Zan looked at a looming light door next to the platform, and knew that he could leave here without being resurrected. With this in mind, he no longer hesitated, and directly stepped out of the gate of light. With a flash of light in front of his eyes, Chen Zan's figure had already appeared in the teleportation array of the test waiting center. He looked at the time, and there were still 10 minutes before the end of the college entrance examination. Like him, many candidates were sent out one after another when the exam time was about to end. This is not because they are strong, but most of the candidates expect to have more rest time after each level. Only in this way can we meet the challenges of the next level in a better state. Even if he just killed one more wild monster, he might be able to get rid of hundreds of people in the final score. Along with the flow of people, Chen Zan walked out of the teleportation array calmly. Many people are asking each other about their grades. At this moment, Mu Shui, who had been staring at Chen Zan, rushed over at a trot. Chen Zan, you came out. Yes. Chen Zan didn't know why Mu Shui insisted on staring at him, but when the other party asked, he could only nod. Just come out, I thought you left early. Mu Shui hadn't found Chen Zan's ranking before, and thought that the other party's results were not satisfactory, so she thoughtfully didn't ask Chen Zan's results at this time. He never mentioned his own results. But she didn't mention it, it doesn't mean others don't mention it. When Lang Xinyue, who has been with the male god, saw Chen Zan, a surge of anger rose in her heart. In her opinion, everyone who made Xiao Haong angry should be kicked. She couldn't find the mysterious candidate before, but Chen Zan was right in front of her eyes. So, she rushed over almost without thinking, and asked directly. Chen Zan, right, didn't you say you could get to the top? Let me see your results. Top floor. Chen Zan was taken aback when he heard the words, that's right. Isn't he already on the top floor? And even went up to the 101st floor to get a 5 elements orb. He knew that there had always been ranking records outside, so Chen Zan never thought that his own results would not be exposed. Even he was still thinking about how to explain this question when asked by others. But when he heard Lang Xinyue's words, he couldn't help being puzzled. Subconsciously turned his head to look at the big screen, but was stunned. He wasn't the first one. Xiao Haong, second place. What about first? Chen Zan was stunned for a moment, then a sound rang out, and he had received a reminder from the Imperial Edict before. It's just that he was busy looking for the 5 elements orb and ignored it. Could the Imperial decree at the beginning of the Yuan dynasty even block this? Chen Zan, who saw this scene, couldn't help being secretly happy when he was surprised. Only the protagonist who is like a fool is willing to expose all his secrets in full view. Now that he can hide it, Chen Zan is naturally happy. Seeing that Chen Zan didn't speak, Lang Xinyue thought that he was speechless because he couldn't refute, and a sneer appeared on his face. Hehe, I couldn't find it, did you? A person like you who doesn't even want to lose face, how did you know my Mu Shui? She reached out and pulled Mu Shui aside. Not wanting face. Chen Zan was stunned for a moment, pointed to On's face and said, isn't this my face? PFF'd. Mu Shui was instantly amused by Chen Zan's words, and Xiao Haong became furious when he saw this scene. Since he met Mu Shui, he tried many times to get in touch with her, but he had never seen her smile so happily. But now, just a casual sentence from Chen Zan can make her laugh like a dog. This made Xiao Haong, who was already extremely aggrieved, feel even more fueled on the fire. HMPH. If you don't dare to say it, you dare not say it. Why make such a clumsy excuse? He lashed out at Chen Zan mercilessly. I remember you said you were very proud before. Why don't you speak now? Xiao Haong, you better watch your words. Mu Shui spoke coldly, her pretty face was icy cold. Don't think that just because you rank second, you can run amok. In this world, there are many people who are stronger than you, stronger than your Zhao family, and stronger than the grip of the Titan. Zhao Haoyang was almost unable to suppress his anger, and was about to speak, but Lang Xinyue at the side couldn't hold back. Shut up, Xiao Shui, how can you say that about Zhao big brother? Lang Xinyue yelled angrily, what's wrong with Zhao's big brother? No matter how bad his grades are, he still ranks second in the entire ranking. If there wasn't that person who was neither human nor ghost on top, he would be number one worthy of the name. What about your good classmate? Quote, she sneered, from the beginning to the end, I couldn't even find a name. I laughed so hard. Shisunere glanced at Zhao Haoyang incomparably, the major guilds will show up later, and a boss from the 9th level guild will come to recruit Zhao big brother. At that time, I want to see, which guild can recruit you, a candidate who threatens to climb to the top. Quote, originally, Chen Zan was not very noticeable, but with the excitement of Zhao Haoyang and Lang Xinyue, more and more people gathered around him. Hearing this, many people pointed at Chen Zan, and there was a lot of discussion. Unexpectedly, this little brother looks very handsome, but he is actually a person who is ostentatious. Just so, I can't even find the leaderboard, so I have to rank so low. I really don't know where he got the confidence to fight against Zhao Haoyang so much. Hee, if you say it nicely, you're young and frivolous, but if you say it badly, you're stupid. Later, when Zhao Haoyang joins a high-rank guild, he just needs to move his hands casually, and there will be a large number of people willing to make things difficult for him. This world is so cruel, I'm afraid he still doesn't know the importance of relationship background. Among the people present, anyone with a little brain would know that there is no suspense at all between the unranked Chen Zan and the second-ranked Zhao Haoyang. Chen Zan didn't pay much attention to this, even if he didn't join any guild, he would go farther than too many professionals by himself. What's more, the old man named Feng Ling didn't find him. If it really doesn't work, just feel wronged and join Yuling Pavilion. Crunch. The sudden sound of the door opening interrupted everyone's discussion, and then they saw a series of powerful and majestic tyrannical figures appearing from the entrance of the examination waiting center one after another. Among them, the candidates who had prepared well for a long time exclaimed even more when they saw these people. Isn't that the badge of the Legion of Glory? The 7th level guild. I also know the uncle holding the staff. He is also the leader of the 100-member group of the 7th Order Guild, Adventure House. I went to blow it up. Did you see the sign of a shield in the middle of the two crossed swords? That's the 8th level guild, Sword of Justice. Aofa Tiangong, Catastrophe and Depression, Makino Meteor, why are there so many 8th level guilds this year? Is this going to be heaven-defying? Quote, my God, is it possible that I will be picked by the 8th ranked guild? If it is true, my dead grandfather should be able to jump out of the grave. More than that, I guess your grandpa can talk and want to take you away. While everyone was discussing, all the teachers upstairs had already rushed down, and even the teachers could not be exempt from being able to curry favor with the professionals of these high-ranked guilds. However, one of the admissions directors of Aofa Tiangong just avoided it with a stern face, and then shouted at the entire test waiting center. Who is Zhao Haoyang? His voice was not strong, but it turned into a rolling sound that completely silenced all the candidates in the entire test waiting center. Zhao Haoyang, who has been paying attention here, seems to have guessed something when he heard the words. He adjusted his mood immediately and raised his hand to signal. I am. Hearing the sound of looking for people, he found Zhao Haoyang's location, and immediately made the professional look happy, and quickly separated from the crowd and walked over. Behind him, many guild admissions directors followed closely behind. Hello, I'm the admissions director of Aofa Tiangong. This time I'm here mainly to invite Zhao Haoyang to join me in Aofa Tiangong. A slight smile appeared on the stern face of the person in charge, and he took the initiative to speak to Zhao Haoyang. Student Zhao Haoyang, we are also here to invite you. Don't worry, as long as you are willing to join our guild, the resources of the entire guild will be given priority to you for your 4th job transfer task. Another old man holding a staff spoke directly. Hey, don't just talk about it, let us Machino Meteor talk about it too. And our sword of justice. That's right, student Xiao Haong, don't just listen to their 2 families, listen to our conditions too. No matter what the conditions are, as long as you can bring them up, we can discuss them. The recruiting directors of many 8th-tier guilds tried their best to win over Xiao Haong. Seeing this, Xiao Haong couldn't help showing a smile on his face, and even the irritability caused by the mysterious strongman before disappeared. Lang Xingyue on the side was so happy that she almost raised her tail to the sky, as if she was the one who could join the 8th-level guild. Look, what's the use of being stubborn? She looked at Chen Zan provocatively. Can you let the 8th-level guild recruit you? Can you let the 8th-level guild compete for it? Can you get them to give you an extra boost bonus? Quote. These 3 consecutive questions made Mu Shui on the side want to interrupt, but she didn't know how to refute. Because what she said was indeed true. From the beginning to the end, Chen Zan stood aside calmly, watching the scene as if watching a play. He even took a look at Xiao Haoyang's profession with great interest. He didn't expect that lightning arcanist profession to be so popular. On the other side, Xiao Haoyang looked at those heads of the 8th-tier guild who were surrounding him and trying to sell own, and the pride on his face could hardly be concealed. Even the heads of those 7th-tier guilds couldn't even squeeze in the crowd, so they could only watch from outside. Such a scene almost made the envious eyes of the surrounding people turn red. But Xiao Haoyang, who was standing in the center, had a light and calm look on his face at this moment. Ahem, thank you seniors for your love for junior, but after all, the college entrance examination has just ended, please allow me to think for a moment. Hearing what he said, many admissions officers became a little anxious. It seems that the rumors are true. Xiao Haoyang is the student that the 9th-ranked guild leader has already reserved. Just as everyone was about to fight again, suddenly, the door of the test waiting center opened again. With a bang, all eyes suddenly turned their heads subconsciously. I saw, at the gate, figures with strong aura appeared one after another. They did not come from the guild, but wore uniform armor and equipment, and their iron-blooded aura made everyone around them retreat. The city defense army actually appeared. When someone saw this special equipment, they immediately exclaimed. Generally, only when an extremely important event is encountered, the city defense army will personally come forward to maintain order. Soon, a passage completely built by the city defense army extended out at the gate. Then, under everyone's gaze, a majestic middle-aged man appeared from outside the passageway. Anyone from Yunyang City can recognize that this middle-aged man who walks like a dragon and a tiger is the Lord of Yunyang City, Han Guang, a powerful professional who has stepped into rank 7 for a long time. But before everyone was amazed at why the city lord appeared, Han Guang, the city lord, stopped and made a motion of bending and reaching out. With a smile on his face, he said, Mr. Feng, please. After the words fell, an old man wearing a magical robe and holding a staff slowly appeared in everyone's sight. In an instant, the audience was in an uproar. What kind of existence is the city lord of Yunyang City? Even if the powerhouses of the 8th-ranked guild see him, they must maintain enough respect for him. In such a huge city, being able to be completely controlled by him alone not only shows that the other party has outstanding abilities, but also because the other party can be appointed as the lord of a city without the consent of the 9th-level guild that controls Yunzhou. It can be said that Han Guang's status as the city lord who controls the core city of Yunzhou is even stronger than the heads of some 8th-tier guilds. But now, for the other party to be so respectful to an ordinary old man, everyone was in an uproar. Before the uproar completely dissipated, everyone suddenly came back to their senses. To make this city lord so respectful, who else can do it except the presence of the boss of the 9th-ranked guild? Hey, is this the boss of Yuling Pavilion? Isn't the pomp too big? More than that, you didn't see that his eyes were as deep and mysterious as an abyss. When I took a look, it seemed that even the soul would be sucked in. My God, is this the powerhouse of the 9th-tier guild? It's scary. Many leaders of the 8th-ranked guild saw the old man appear, and they all stepped aside. Sure enough, under the guidance of Han Guang, the other party seemed to have discovered something, and walked towards Xiao Haoyang. Many people in charge who saw this scene couldn't help but sigh in their hearts. As soon as Yuling Pavilion came out, there was no such thing as 8th level guilds like them. The reason why they tried so hard to win over Xiao Haong just now was to impress him in advance. It now appears that the plan has completely failed. Seeing the boss of the 9th tier guild, which even the city lord was extremely respectful, walking towards him, Xiao Haoyang's face suddenly became full of smiles. He hastily straightened the folds on his clothes, and took the initiative to separate from the crowd and go up to him. After all, this is a 9th level guild, so it is worth lowering his own attitude. The crowd dispersed, and countless candidates watched this scene eagerly. It was the dream of many candidates to be favored by the 9th level guild. But now, they can only be reduced to spectators. And the owner of all these, Xiao Haoyang, has exploded into an unprecedented glory at this time, and even his eye-catching second place on the ranking list is no longer important. No matter how many there are, as long as they are selected by the 9th level guild, that is the greatest honor. Junior Xiao Haoyang, see you senior. Xiao Haoyang bowed to the city lord and the old man in full view. Seeing this, Lang Xinyue, who had been twinkling with little stars in her eyes, curled her lips disdainfully at Chen Zan. Look, king of mouth, you will never be able to reach the level of Zhao Big Brother in your life. However, as soon as she finished speaking, the city lord saw a smile on Xiao Haoyang's face, and was also about to praise him. But at this moment, the old man on the side didn't even look at him, and just passed by his side. Click. At this moment, everyone's minds seemed to be numb from a thunderstorm. What's the situation? Didn't you say you came here for Mr. Zhao? Why don't you even take a look? But before everyone came back to their senses, they saw the old man's face brightened. He took the initiative to quicken his pace, and finally stopped in front of Chen Zan, laughing loudly. Ha ha ha, little friend, shall we meet again? Hiss. Everyone couldn't help but gasp when they heard the words, and their eyes fell on Chen Zan in disbelief. What, after a long time, didn't the boss of the 9th level guild come to find Xiao Haoyang? No, is there something wrong? You are blind yourself, do you think the boss is also blind? Even people can admit mistakes. Here, didn't you always say that the 9th level guild came for Xiao Haoyang? I don't know this, isn't it what the Zhao family has been saying? I really took it seriously. I didn't expect that there would be an oolong. Ha ha ha, look at Xiao Haoyang's expression. At this moment, Xiao Haoyang's face turned from white to red, then from red to black, and then from black to purple. If he hadn't already vomited blood just now, he would almost vomit 3 liters of blood now. How can it be? How could it not be me? Who else in Yunzhou can be better than me? Unreconciled and aggrieved, he suddenly turned his head to look, only to see that the old man smiled at Chen Zan with cupped hands, and even took the initiative to speak. With a click, Xiao Haoyang felt his 3 views shattered to the ground. How could the boss of the majestic 9th tier guild have such an attitude towards a candidate who didn't even have a ranking? This is simply off the mark. Not only Xiao Haoyang, but everyone including the admissions director of the 8th Order Guild looked at this scene in surprise. Could it be that it is rumored that the boss of the 9th rank guild is looking for this handsome young man? But just now they heard with their own ears that this boy named Chen Zan couldn't even find the ranking. What is Yuling Pavilion doing? As for the Invigilator Master and others standing at the back, their eyes flashed, and they suddenly thought of a terrible guess. Director, do you think, is it possible that the leaderboard? A teacher was slapped on the face by the supervisor before he finished speaking. Snapped. The crisp applause instantly blinded the teacher who was speaking. He covered his face and looked at the director in disbelief. Director, why did you hit me? Although you are the director, you can't do it at will, right? Hearing this, the director not only showed no sympathy on his face, but instead let out a low voice. Are you blind? Can't even see this? He lowered his voice and tremblingly said, obviously this examinee is an imperial member of Yuling Pavilion, but he kept a low profile, so the 9th level guild blocked the information of this exam by means of big means. Its real purpose is to hide this extremely proud candidate. You only need to turn even a little bit, and you will know if this news comes from our mouths. What dire consequences will it cause? Quote, what? The teacher who was beaten was stunned. That's right, the 9th level guild tried every means to block the information, but he just casually poked it out. If I were a 9th level guild, I would definitely tear this guy into pieces. Hiss. The original anger of the teacher who reacted disappeared, replaced by a face full of gratitude to the invigilator. If it wasn't for the director, I'm afraid he would really die without a place to bury him. Not only him, but even the teachers around him who had guessed some things were all silent, secretly glad that he didn't tell this matter. While everyone was discussing, Chen Zan watched the old man Feng Ling greet him, suddenly frowned, and lowered his voice to the old man. It was rumored that the boss of the 9th tier guild was coming to the examination room, but I never thought that it would be you. Chen Zan glanced around and couldn't help giving the old man a thumbs up. Your ostentation is really big. Cough cough cough. My friend, don't mock me, haha. Feng Ling laughed dryly, and said in the same low voice, last time I left in a hurry, didn't it mean I didn't leave your contact information? When I went to your house again later, you were not at home. There is no way, old man, I can only declare to the outside world that I want to come here. In fact, I just want to let you know through this, so I can come to you when the time comes. Quote. It turns out that you have been doing it for a long time, and it is for me. Chen Zan rolled his eyes, I can't afford this favor. Ha ha ha, you don't need to accept it, as long as you can join my Yuling Pavilion. Feng Ling licked his face and said, little friend, should you think it over this time? Can you join our Yuling Pavilion? Quote. Quote. The recruitment directors of many 8th tier guilds nearby all stared blankly, unable to believe what they saw. Is this the boss of the 9th Order Guild? When did the boss of the 9th tier guild become so humble? And listening to this meaning, this boy even rejected the request to join the guild before. What kind of fairy is this? While everyone was stunned, Chen Zan pondered for a moment after listening to old man Feng Ling's words, before speaking. Senior, thank you for your invitation, Under everyone's gaze, Chen Zan thought about the old man's question and finally gave the answer. Thank you very much for the senior's invitation, I am willing to join Yuling Pavilion. Ha ha ha, great. Hearing this, the old man Feng Ling danced happily like a child. The people around were completely dumbfounded when they saw this scene. What's the situation? How come those who invite to join are happier than those who agree to join? Shouldn't it be the other way around? On the side, Lang Xinyue watched this scene tremblingly, she couldn't believe her own eyes. Isn't he unranked? Isn't he a trash kid from the backcountry? Isn't he a stinky brat who wants to get along with Mu Shui? But now, this Chen Zan, who she didn't even look at from the beginning to the end, actually made the 9th level guild boss who dismissed Xiao Haong beg to join in such a humble manner. Lang Xinyue felt unacceptable, she couldn't accept it, let alone Xiao Haong who was the person involved. At this time, Xiao Haoyang's body was trembling, his eyes were red, and there was only one thought in his heart, wanting to rush up and question the other party. But what little sanity he had left kept him where he was. Come, little friend, let me introduce you. After receiving Chen Zan's affirmative reply, the old man Feng Ling hurriedly pulled his wrist very kindly, and introduced to Han Guang who was beside him. This is the city lord of Yunyang City, Han Guang, City Lord Han. From today on, my little friend will be a member of my Yuling Pavilion. As soon as the old man Feng Ling's words came out, it was a complete sign that Chen Zan's news of joining the 9th level guild was confirmed. All of a sudden, countless candidates cast envious eyes. Many candidates even regretted not taking the initiative to get to know Chen Zan before. Many female candidates looked at Chen Zan affectionately, wishing to pounce on him now. Who wouldn't love such a handsome and promising professional? Beside, Mu Shuimei had tears of excitement in her eyes, she was always worried about what kind of route Chen Zan would have in the future. He even thought about whether he could ask the other party to include Chen Zan in the guild if he could join a 7th tier guild. But now, Chen Zan's achievement has already far surpassed her. Sure enough, he is the boy I look up to. Mu Shui looked at Chen Zan's back and seemed to be in a daze. Little friend Chen Zan, choosing a date is worse than bumping into the sun. Since we know each other, why not come to my house to get together? As the lord of a city, Han Guangyang has a natural and exquisite mind, so after getting to know him for a while, he took the initiative to invite him. Chen Zan was about to refuse, but Han Guang said with a smile. Feng Lao has been staying at my house all the time. It just so happens that there is something to do, so it's convenient to meet up. If that's the case, then bother. Chen Zan thought for a while. He really wanted to consult old man Feng Ling if he had any questions, so he agreed. Just like that, Chen Zan turned around and greeted Mu Shui, and then, accompanied by Feng Ling and Han Guang, left the test waiting center. The master left just like that, and the entire college entrance examination continued. What attracted everyone's attention next was what kind of guild he could join. Many guild admissions directors followed the ranking list to find their favorite ones to invite. At this moment, Xiao Haong, who gradually recovered from his emotions, also began to think about an extremely serious problem. That is the 9th Order Guild. He has no chance. Without a 9th tier guild, at least an 8th tier guild should be mixed in, right? For a moment, he realized that he couldn't help but look at the admissions director of the 8th ranked guild standing not far away. Forcibly calming down his inner emotions, he walked up. Hello, I would like to agree to your invitation just now, and join the Guild of Depression and Catastrophe. He first took the initiative to speak to the leader of the guild who was depressed by the catastrophe. After all, this guild is mostly mages, and various bonus benefits are also most suitable for his profession. However, this time, as soon as his words came out, the person in charge couldn't help shaking his head. Sorry, your conditions are temporarily unable to join the guild. What? But, didn't you just invite me to join the catastrophe and depression? Why do you go back on your word now? Xiao Haoyang's complexion changed immediately when he heard this, and he couldn't help asking back. HMPH, just now was just now, and now is now. Unexpectedly, this time the person in charge did not have the attitude of flattering him before, but said bluntly, we only came here to fight for you because we thought you were favored by the 9th level guild. Who would have thought that after bragging for a long time, it turned out to be a Exabe product? Quote. Without waiting for his reaction, he snorted coldly, turned and left. Yeah, do you really think that you can join the 8th level guild casually because you are a special profession? The person in charge of Sword of Justice also sneered. Waste half a day of my saliva, disappointing. Boy, let me remind you. With your aptitude, I'm afraid you can only stay in your 7th level guild. Hey, this Zhao family is too good at bragging, otherwise I wouldn't even come. Zhao Haoyang watched the admissions directors of many 8th tier guilds ignore him and left the examination waiting center. Puff, he was so aggrieved that he couldn't help but spurt another mouthful of blood immediately, his body swayed, and he almost fell to the ground directly. It turned out that he spent countless efforts, but finally stopped at the same place. This time, even Leng Xinyue, who was by his side desperately licking him before, disappeared. All the aura and glory are gone in one day. Chen Zan naturally didn't know what happened to Zhao Haoyang. He was already sitting in the luxury car specially prepared by the city lord Han Guang, heading for the city lord's mansion. Although since the game invaded, more and more professionals are mostly traveling on mounts. But in the city, the huge mount is still inconvenient. Of course, it's even rarer for City Lord Han to make a Rolls-Royce-like luxury car to travel around the city. Just as Chen Zan was reminiscing about the luxury car experience he had in his previous life, the City Lord's mansion arrived. Come here, Chen Zan, please take your seat. In the majestic hall of the City Lord's mansion, Chen Zan was allowed to sit on the private seat. At first Chen Zan wanted to be polite, but when he saw the old man Fengling sitting there, even winking at him, he felt relaxed. Han City Lord, I'm sorry. After the maid served all the refreshments, before Chen Zan could speak, the old man Feng Ling smiled faintly. We have some things to talk about. If you have something to do, go ahead and work on it. Okay, old Feng, call me if you need anything. Han Guang nodded quickly when he heard the words, turned around and left with the maids. When the door was closed, the old man Feng Ling looked at Chen Zan with a smile. Okay, what's the problem? Wait until I pull you into the guild. As he spoke, he waved his hand and opened the guild list directly. Not long after, Chen Zan received an invitation. Reminder, you have received an invitation letter from the Yuling Pavilion Guild, do you agree? Chen Zan clicked directly on agree, and then heard a ding, and a series of notification sounds appeared in his mind. Reminder, you get the guild buff blessing, and the life value and magic power value increase by 50%. Hint: your skill strength is increased by 20%, and your magic resistance is increased by 20%. Tip: your armor is increased by 20%, and all attributes are increased by 15%. Tip: your skill cooling time is reduced by 25%. Reminder: since your profession is a beast master, all the above increases will be automatically added to all contracted beasts. Reminder: currently your authority is LV1. Please upgrade your authority as soon as possible to obtain more guild benefits. Hiss. Chen Zan, who listened to the prompts one after another, couldn't help but also gasped. It's too strong, it's ridiculously strong. In addition to the surge in magic power and health, almost all other places that can be enhanced have been enhanced. Even the cooldown time of Chen Zan's most important skill has been reduced by as much as 25%. Coupled with the 25% cooldown halo brought by his previous equipment, the cooldown of all contracted beast skills was reduced by as much as half. And he himself has an extra 15% bonus, which is 75% less. 10 hours, leaving only 2.5 hours of vacuum. Such an increase is simply terrifying. What shocked Chen Zan even more was that these guild buffs could be directly applied to all contracted beasts. This is what the old man Feng Ling said before, the real reason why Yuling Pavilion is the most suitable for beast masters to join. Chen Zan with the upper body of the buff couldn't wait to open the own attribute panel and start checking. Hiss. It doesn't matter at first glance. Chen Zan found that even without the time annihilation suit, his mana has already broken through the 5 million mark. If the suit is added, it will be about 5.7 million, and he alone can shoot 11 bursts of forbidden spells. After a while, Chen Zan recovered from the shock, and saw old man Feng Ling looking at him with a smile on his face. Haha, how do you feel? Isn't it shocking? The old man Feng Ling asked with a smile. Well, it's really shocking. Normal, many new professionals like you will be shocked once. The old man Feng Ling explained. You think, what kind of concept is it that the mana that was originally only a few thousand has suddenly increased by a few thousand? Quote question mark question mark question mark quote. Chen Zan was stunned for a moment. How many thousand? Is that blue? Now that there is no increase of hundreds of thousands, he doesn't feel the slightest. Growth that cannot cast forbidden spells is invalid growth. If the old man Feng Ling knew what Chen Zan was thinking at this moment, he would be so angry that he vomited blood on the spot. What are you kidding? Generally, a rank 3 professional will be excited for a long time even if their mana increases by a few hundred points, and if it exceeds 1,000 points, they will almost take off on the spot. But you are lucky, hundreds of thousands will increase at every turn, which is simply unreasonable. By the way, Feng Lao, I saw a prompt saying, let me increase my authority as soon as possible. Now I only have LV1 in the guild. After being stunned for a moment, Chen Zan decided to ask the questions he cared about first. Aha, you said this. Feng Ling smiled and opened the own guild list. Every newcomer who joins Yuling Pavilion has LV1 authority. Our authority level is divided into 9 levels, the lowest is your LV1, and the highest is LV9. The higher the authority, the better benefits you can enjoy in the guild. For example, your current superimposed guild buffs can be upgraded with the increase of authority. Quote. After a pause, Feng Ling suddenly smiled. Of course, over time, the guild has divided different titles according to different authorities. Title. Chen Zan was stunned for a moment. That's right, with your level of authority, it's an ordinary member, after that it's an intermediate member, a senior member, a core member, and then it's the elder, the king. And starting from LV7, it can be called an ancient giant, because at this level, at least there are existences above rank 7. Celebrities through the ages, it is no problem to become a giant, the name of the eternal giant is indeed worthy of the name. Then, there is the eternal overlord. At this stage, the 8th turn is the lowest, and 9 cycles is considered normal. As for the last LV9, it is called the Pavilion Master. The Pavilion Master of my Yuling Pavilion has always been a dragon, but there are rumors that he is already looking for an opportunity to become a god. The lowest level is full level 9, and the highest. As he said that, a look of incomparable reverence flashed in the eyes of the old man Feng Ling. It may be a demigod. Demigod. Chen Zan couldn't help being stunned when he heard this. Isn't his title, own, a demigod? Is it possible that I can compete with that 9 cycles full level Pavilion Master now? Impossible. Absolutely impossible. Chen Zan quickly calmed himself down. He didn't even have 4 turns, even with many bonuses, he could do 10 or even 20 consecutive spells. But in his view, the shortcomings are still very obvious. If the other party takes a breather and directly casts a forbidden spell on himself, I'm afraid it will be cold directly. So be sure to stay calm and don't be fooled by these hypocritical appearances. Ahem, only those with authority above LV7 have the right to directly pull people into the guild. Feng Ling revealed his own authority level indiscriminately, thinking that Chen Zan could boast about it. However, after he talked for a long time, Chen Zan just sat there quietly, not only did not respond at all, he was even in a daze. Quote. While Feng Ling was speechless, he couldn't help but sigh that the God's Blessed One really had an extraordinary bearing, and he was not surprised by favor or humiliation. It wasn't until a long while before Chen Zan came back to his senses, and couldn't help but ask, "Old Feng, how do you increase this authority?" It's simple, as long as your guild contribution reaches a certain value, the permissions will be changed automatically. Feng Ling didn't pause, but continued to introduce, the contribution degree needs to accumulate contribution points, and this kind of points can be accumulated by clearing guild tasks and donating materials needed by various guilds. Moreover, there is no need to consume points to increase the authority, and these points can be saved to help you exchange guild resources. Quote. Feng Ling knew that Chen Zan didn't know much, so he simply opened the mall interface in his guild list, and introduced to Chen Zan by pulling the list. Look, the materials, equipment, and even potions here can all be exchanged with points. Chen Zan glanced over the list, and just as he was about to look away, his expression suddenly changed. On the list, he suddenly saw the epic level materials needed for his 4-stage job transfer mission. What's wrong? Feeling the change in Chen Zan's gaze, Feng Ling asked subconsciously. As a result, Chen Zan was only silent for a moment, then grinned, "Old Feng, I want to borrow points." Borrow points? Feng Ling was stunned. To be honest, this was the first time he saw someone borrow points from him as soon as he joined the guild. Is there anything Chen Xiaoyu wants? He looks very anxious. Forehead. Chen Zan thought for a while, and said directly, "I'm doing a job transfer task for the 4th job, and I need some materials that are in the list." Aha, so you are doing the task of rank 4, you said to me, what? You are going to rank 4. Feng Ling was about to continue speaking, but in the middle of speaking, his eyes suddenly widened, and he grabbed Chen Zan's arms and asked. 4 turns. This guy is going to turn 4. He clearly remembered that when they met for the second time, Chen Zan said that he had just turned 3. How long has it been? How many days? He actually prepared to turn 4. Ah, what's the problem? Chen Zan didn't expect the old man to be so excited, and couldn't help asking back with a little fear. Ahem, no problem. Feng Ling also realized that he had lost his composure, and quickly let go of his hand, coughing dryly, as expected of a God-favored person, to be able to reach the full level so quickly. Before, I was thinking whether to take you to level up first, it seems that worrying is unnecessary, haha. Quote. God's favored one. Chen Zan couldn't help but move his eyes when he heard this term, and then asked. After a while, he finally understood why the old man Fengling chased after him as soon as he saw him. Before I was worried about how to cover up the fact that I had more contracted beasts than the rules, but now it seems redundant. After Chen Zan learned about the God's favored one, he felt that it would be easier for him to make excuses in the future. The amount of mana is astonishing, the one favored by the gods. The number of contracted beasts has increased, those favored by the gods. The skill is instant, God's favored one. Haha, he suddenly became happy. He found a scapegoat, the one favored by the gods. It doesn't matter, since you are a 4th rank transfer task, I will definitely not stand by and watch. After pondering for a while, Feng Ling said directly, guild points cannot be transferred directly, but I can buy them for you. You report all the materials you need, and I will see how many points you need, and I will give it to you directly. That's all right. Really, that would be great. Chen Zan was overjoyed when he heard that. If he could really buy all the materials for him, it would greatly shorten the time for job transfer tasks and save a lot of money. Chen Zan, who was about to tell the ingredients, suddenly hesitated for a moment, and then asked, well, Feng Lao, this batch of ingredients is relatively scarce and may be more expensive, do you really mind? What words? Feng Lao stared at him immediately, and said rather displeased, Old man, I always say what I say. Didn't the time annihilation set just give away? Come on, just open your mouth. There is no material in this world that I, Feng Ling, can't get. Quote. Being questioned about own authority, Feng Lao immediately waved his hand, extremely heroic. Seeing this, Chen Zan stopped hesitating immediately, and saw that he opened the own task list with a wave of his hand, and showed Feng Lao all the materials needed for the first link of the task. Look, not much, that's all. Opening the list, Chen Zan pointed to the introduction above. Feng Ling also looked at the list, subconsciously thinking about it. The expanse of sea and sky, the purple tears of green gold, the sky of blue gold, all of them are epic. And lava blood gold, hiss, so much, and it's still a unit. Quote. Chen Zan stood aside and looked at Feng Lao, muttering something softly in his mouth while watching, and even his face began to change in the end. It's like blue and purple. Seeing this, Chen Zan quickly asked concerned, Old Feng, are you alright? PFF'd. Cough cough. It's okay. Feng Ling forcibly suppressed a mouthful of reverse blood that almost surged up from him, and forced a smile. Ah, is there too much stuff? Or, Chen Zan rubbed his hands in embarrassment, thinking about whether to reduce the quantity. But Feng Lao stared and gritted his teeth. A lot. This little thing, the old man hasn't noticed it yet. Real, of course it's true. It won't be too difficult for you, will it? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? This is it. You wait, the old man will come as soon as he goes. The old man Feng Ling's voice fell, and his whole body was blown out of the room like a gust of wind. Snapped. The door was closed, and the old man Feng Ling's face was filled with pain, and he even put his palm on his chest. It hurts, it hurts. He never expected that Chen Zan's 4th rank mission would require all epic level materials. Even a staggering amount. Hey, what kind of difficulty did this kid take? The old man Feng Ling felt a little scared. This is the first part, so scary, what should I do after that? Shaking his head, he didn't have time to worry about this for now, these materials alone probably cost him half his life. But after all, I have already boasted a lot just now, if this is really breaking my promise, it would be a shame. After thinking about it, the old man Feng Ling left Yunyang City without hesitation. Chen Zan didn't expect that it would take almost a day for Feng Lao to leave. He was arranged by the city lord in an upper room, and let a few little guys come out to have fun. When night fell, the door creaked and was pushed open. Chen Zan turned his head to see that the old man Feng Ling walked in tremblingly with disheveled hair. All go, Feng Lao, how did you make it look like this? Isn't it just going out to get materials or something? How can it be like peeling off a layer of skin? Hearing this, Feng Lao gave him an annoyed look, sat down on the chair, and took a few breaths. Then with a wave of the palm, a pile of shining materials appeared directly in the room. Hiss. Seeing so many materials piled up, Chen Zan couldn't help being surprised. Boy Chen, all the materials you want are here. Seeing Chen Zan's expression, old man Feng Ling finally had a look of satisfaction on his face. Because you want a lot of epic materials, only about 40 of them have been exchanged in the guild mall, and the remaining 9 are secret realms that I put down my face and asked a few old buddies to download together. So just came back now. Quote. Chen Zan nodded suddenly when he saw this, and asked subconsciously, so, you made it like this because of the secret realm? Is it so difficult to get an epic secret realm? Quote. Cough cough cough. Feng Ling coughed angrily when he heard the words, what do you think? That is an epic secret realm, not to mention you alone, there are 100 of them. Forget it, you will know when you reach the 7th rank in the future it's gone. Is it really that dangerous? Chen Zan mused to himself thoughtfully, even a rank 8 professional like Feng Lao is in such a state, he wants to brush 5 epic level secret realms. Sure, you think, oh, I've said it's not something you should think about now. As soon as Feng Lao said something, he coughed and quickly waved his hands and said, okay, I've got the things for you. I still have something to do, so I'll go first. After finishing speaking, without waiting for Chen Zan's reaction, he hurriedly left the room. Strange. Chen Zan watched Feng Lao disappear, and said with some doubts. However, seeing that so many materials had been assembled, he didn't think too much about it. He quickly opened the task list and began to put the materials into the job transfer space. Reminder: if you find the required task materials for the 4 job transfer task, do you want to submit it? Following Chen Zan's confirmation, a unit of material disappeared out of nowhere in the space. Reminder: the progress of job transfer task completion is increased, and the current progress is 149th. Effective. Seeing the prompt, Chen Zan started submitting the task materials frantically without hesitation. Reminder: the progress of the job transfer task is improved, and the current progress is 249ths. Reminder: the progress of the job transfer task is improved, and the current progress is 349ths. Reminder: the progress of the job transfer task is improved, and the current progress is 549ths. In less than 5 minutes, all materials were completely consumed. Reminder: the progress of job transfer task is improved, the current progress is 49/49ths. Reminder: you have completed the first part of the job transfer task, and now start the second part of the task. Task name: Epic Boss Challenge Chapter 1. Task Introduction. Any brave man who wants to prove that he can be stronger needs to break through all the stumbling blocks. Those scary bosses that randomly appear in the wild are the first step to prove your own. Task target: randomly challenge any epic boss refreshed in the field, and complete the final kill. Please note: the boss with the highest hatred value will be judged as the owner of the kill. Task time limit: 3 days. Reminder: the mission countdown begins. Chen Zan couldn't help grinning when he heard the prompt, "Good guy, let me challenge the epic field boss directly." For the entire Xia Kingdom, once it reaches the epic level, it is completely out of the category of low-level professionals. And this kind of epic field boss is something that many rank 7 or even rank 8 professionals must fight for. Because too many important materials and equipment can be exploded from the field boss. Moreover, the time and place for this kind of boss refresh are not fixed. It takes a lot of effort to find it. But this time, the task time was only given 3 days. This gave Chen Zan a sense of urgency. There is also the time limit task of the Golden Orb before, which Chen Zan has not had time to do. After pondering for a moment, Chen Zan decided that it was necessary to ask Old Man Feng Ling to see where there were field bosses nearby, or to focus on job transfer tasks. Once there is any failure in the job transfer task, all progress will be cleared directly, and even if the task can be completed later, the rewards obtained will be greatly reduced. This is also the fundamental reason why many professionals attach so much importance to job change tasks. After a night of nothing, Chen Zan took the initiative to find Old Man Feng Ling early the next morning. "Feng Lao, do you know the refresh information of the field boss?" Seeing that the Old Man Feng Ling had recovered, Chen Zan asked directly. "A field boss?" The Old Man Feng Ling froze for a moment, then looked at Chen Zan suspiciously. "Why are you asking this?" Before Chen Zan could react, the Old Man Feng Ling immediately realized, "What do you need for the job transfer task?" "Yes." Chen Zan nodded. "Does Mr. Feng have any information? The more detailed the better." "Are you sure you only need information?" The Old Man Feng Ling thought for a while, and suddenly couldn't help but confirm again. What else?" Chen Zan was stunned. Did he not speak clearly enough? Ahem. The Old Man Feng Ling coughed dryly. After yesterday's tossing, he was really afraid that Chen Zan would accidentally ask for something extra, and his old life would probably be unnecessary by then. If it's just information, it's actually very simple. Our guild mall has strategies for wild bosses everywhere, and this kind of thing can be purchased directly without redeeming points. I see. Chen Zan nodded suddenly, then said hello and left. He returned to the room, opened the list of the guild mall, and found the field boss information strategy in it. Chen Zan found that these guides are not only comprehensive, but even classified according to different qualities. He reset several million gold coins in his own guild account in one go, and then bought all the information of all field bosses above the epic level. Tianjiao, Ironwood City. Chen Zan, who browsed for a long time, finally chose this location directly, not because the Ironwood City is the closest to him, but more importantly, the surrounding area of Ironwood City is not only a place where wild bosses refresh, but also an epic secret realm location. He only needs to go there once, and he can complete the two tasks directly, which can be regarded as going hand in hand without delaying each other. With this in mind, Chen Zan no longer hesitated, and directly sent a message to Feng Ling, telling the other party that he would go out for a few days, and then left the city lord's mansion. After a period of dizziness, Chen Zan woke up from the teleportation array. When he walked out of the teleportation station, he saw a dry, hot city full of red and yellow hues emerged in front of him. Yanzhou, Ironwood City has arrived. According to the usual practice, Chen Zan first found a few locations in Ironwood City that were suitable for leaving anchor points, and then found a hotel to stay in. There are still 1 to 2 days before the wild boss refresh time, he just needs to keep an eye on the movement. As for the remaining time, Chen Zan is going to complete an epic secret realm that exists here, the Castle of the Flame Tyrant. Hiss. On the outskirts of Ironwood City, Chen Zan stood in front of the secret realm gate made of black and red rock, and couldn't help but click his tongue. 2 million one-time secret realm passes, don't let me down. He also didn't expect that the pass to this epic secret realm would be so expensive that ordinary professionals simply couldn't enter it. Forcibly suppressing the pain in his heart, Chen Zan couldn't help but look at the secret realm stele standing beside the secret realm gate. On it, all the teams that broke into the secret realm were marked with the time records. And if Chen Zan wanted to complete the task, he had to break the #1 record, and he couldn't be broken for 5 days. Chen Zan glanced at all the other rankings, looking at the team and time ranked first. On a huge stone tablet that is several meters high, there is a misty light shining. On the front of the stele, there are 10 rankings from high to low. These 10 rankings are the top 10 groups that conquered the secret realm of the Flame Tyrant's castle. Chen Zan's eyes fell directly on the first one. First place, Thunder Battleship, hundreds. Affiliated Guild, Arcane Hall, 9th level. Secret Realm record, 21 hours, 46 minutes and 29 seconds. The Palace of Arcana. Chen Zan's eyes moved when he saw the information. When he bought the strategy from the guild mall yesterday, he also bought some detailed introductions about the current major guilds in Xia Kingdom. After all, he himself is now a member of a 9th tier guild, so he can't be as novice as before. In the entire Xia Kingdom, there are only a handful of guilds that can reach the 9th level. Among them, the Arcane Palace, where mages gather, is the most powerful, even ranking first in the combat power rankings of all guilds. The Thunder Battleship is also the top 500-member regiment of the lineage of Thunder Mages in the Arcane Palace. But what surprised him was that it took such a top team such a long time to create an epic secret realm. Looking down, the team ranked second, the secret realm record directly reached 3 days, 01 hours, 23 minutes and 03 seconds. This huge gap made Chen Zan couldn't help but wondered to himself. Where is this secret realm? It's so difficult. Tisk tisk, I'm afraid this is your first time here, little brother. Suddenly, a professional who was also watching couldn't help but smile. Yes, what's the matter? Chen Zan froze for a moment, then subconsciously asked. Haha, you haven't changed jobs very often, so you don't know how scary this epic secret realm is. The uncle-like professional smiled and said, it is said that when the secret realm first appeared, many 9th tier guilds sent groups of hundreds of people to brush the secret realm. Unexpectedly, as soon as he entered, he encountered a river of lava, and the terrifying high temperature, not to mention rank 5, even rank 6 professionals would not be able to last long. Many 9th tier guilds suffered a lot from that one time alone. Not only that, but there are also a large number of Balrogs hiding in the lava river, and they themselves are terrifying wild monsters above the gold level. In addition, being in the environment is extremely beneficial to them, and they are almost immune to general fire skills. Quote. The uncle spoke eloquently. In the end, it was the mage group of the Thunder Battleship who directly swept the world with powerful magic, and only then broke this record. Seeing that Chen Zan was listening seriously, he couldn't help but continue. I have saved the live video they recorded when they went to the secret realm back then. It's so cool. Are you interested in learning about it? You can watch one episode for only 100 gold coins, and you can even get one for free if you buy 5 episodes. Quote. After listening for a long time, Chen Zan finally understood that he had met a salesman. In this world, there are also people who start to deceive professionals with various gimmicks in order to make money. He just heard about it before, but he didn't expect to encounter it. Shaking his head, Chen Zan refused. Thank you, I don't need it. Hey, why don't you want it? This is an epic secret realm video, you can't find it anywhere else. The salesman was about to persuade him, but Chen Zan turned around and left. I can brush the secret realm myself, so there's no need for it. What, you brush it yourself? The salesman was stunned for a moment, and then laughed exaggeratedly. Ha ha ha, boy, you can really brag. You just want to brush the epic secret realm in just a few turns. Dreaming of brushing. Quote. Faced with the other party's doubts, Chen Zan just smiled, then turned and left. After all, after he finished the secret realm, only the results could be displayed here, and he might be teleported somewhere, so there was no need to be serious with the other party. Finding a deserted place, Chen Zan raised his hand, and a secret realm pass emerged. With a thought, after activating the pass, a dazzling white light enveloped Chen Zan directly, and at the next moment, he disappeared from where he was. Then some professionals who regarded the stele as a tourist attraction suddenly discovered that the entrance of the secret realm was shining brightly, and then the ranking on the leaderboard disappeared, and it was replaced by a timing state. Here, someone has entered the secret realm. Someone exclaimed, causing an uproar. No way, which group of hundreds is going to challenge the secret realm? This is a good show, I wonder if we can break the record. Break the record? Are you afraid that you are full? That is the record set by the Thunder Fleet, and no one has broken it here for 2 years. HMPH, that's not necessarily the case. In 2 days' time, it will be the end of the month settlement. Maybe the 100-man group came to steal the tower. After all, the first place can get a lot of guild points. It's ridiculous. If it's so easy to steal towers, why do you think the ranking hasn't changed in the past 2 years? I'm here today. If I really want this team to break the record of the Thunder Battleship, I'll broadcast it live. Okay, just say this to you, tell me in the live broadcast room, I will pay attention now. While everyone was discussing, Chen Zan only felt a slight tremor in his mind, and when he opened his eyes again, his eyes had already turned into a sea of magma and flames exuding a scorching aura. Reminder, you have entered the secret realm, you have obtained the burning poison, and your life value is -20 per second. Hint, your fire skill resistance drops by 10%, fire skill strength -10%, water skill strength -20%. Hint, your all attributes are -100. Reminder, Balrog scouts discovered your arrival and notified the lava tyrant. There will be a large number of Balrogs coming from the 3rd-tier world. Please prepare for battle. Almost at the same time as these prompts disappeared, Chen Zan saw a rushing magma river suddenly surge up in the distance. At the next moment, crimson waves rolled up, and at the top of the waves, magma flowed all over their bodies. A figure whose upper body was shaped like a human, and whose lower body was full of flames emerged from the magma. Chen Zan swept his gaze, and all the information appeared instantly. Lava Monst. Race, Balrog. Level, LV 100. Life, 11,250. Magic power, 5,960. Power, 1125. Agility, 238. Spirit, 596. Skills, Flame Breath Tier 4, Berserk Tier 5. Battle power, 108 stars. Comment, it was born from the flames, probably because the temperature was too high and burned the brain, so it can only be reduced to the lowest level of cannon fodder, but even so, if there are too many, it will still make you scream. After reading the message, Chen Zan called out in his heart, what a guy, the epic level secret realm is epic level, and actually used LV 100 as cannon fodder. However, on top of the lava waves, such cannon fodder is densely packed, literally tens of thousands. Even in the deepest part of the magma river, countless lava monsters can be seen constantly emerging. To put it bluntly, even a 7th rank boss here, if he doesn't have a large-scale high explosive skill in hand, I'm afraid he will be exhausted to death. However, Chen Zan just looked at the countless wild monsters rushing in front of him, but said with a slight smile in his mouth. Little teeth, it's a bit hot, help them cool down. Ah, in the world of the flame tyrant, all the magma that was originally galloping stopped at this moment. The blazing heat wave also disappeared, replaced by a biting cold. The countless lava monsters who were clamoring to attack just now have turned into ice sculptures standing in place. The original red world has been replaced by dreamlike ice blue. If anyone can enter the secret realm now, they will wonder if they have gone to the wrong place. This is the terrifying power of the ice curse. Chen Zan didn't have time to appreciate such a beautiful scenery at this time. While listening to the killing sound from the reminder, he frantically collected his harvest this time. While collecting, Chen Zan burst into laughter. As expected of an epic secret realm, the things that burst out are precious. Any kind of material should start at least gold grade, and diamond grade can be seen everywhere. Just what he saw in front of him was far more than the price he paid for a passport. It is foreseeable that after the end of this secret realm, Chen Zan will make a lot of money again. However, although Chen Zan was happy, he did not forget the goal of his mission. Nearly 3 minutes have passed since he entered the secret realm. To be on the safe side, Chen Zan decided to go to the next floor as soon as possible. 10 minutes later, Chen Zan's figure gradually became clear on the second floor. The world here is hotter than the previous layer, surrounded by magma lakes, and there is almost no place to stay. Fortunately, Chen Zan has the flying skills of sky wings, which allows him to hover continuously in midair. This time, without waiting for the prompt to appear, he directly glanced at the chubby Xiaoshui. Meow! Xiaoshui took a step forward and let out a cry. Forbidden curse white tiger kills the world. Boom! After countless Genjin blades continued to wreak havoc throughout the world, unlike the previous world, this time all the Balrogs had already been cut to pieces before they even had time to break out of the lava. Crash! The magma is still boiling, and the river is still flowing, but the difference is that there won't be even a single complete wild monster in the lava. It was still a huge and incomparable harvest. Chen Zan gradually discovered that the most time-consuming thing for him was not releasing forbidden spells to kill monsters, but counting the harvest he had. But it is absolutely impossible to make him give up these gains. Buying food for these little guys before has turned him from a billionaire to a multi-millionaire. If you don't even want things, you will really become a pauper. Fortunately, when Chen Zan collected all his harvest into the space and was about to go to the third floor, which is the world where the Flame Tyrant's castle was located on the last floor, the time count was only 25 minutes. When Chen Zan opened his eyes again from the teleportation array, he saw at a glance that in the huge, seemingly endless magma ocean, a huge mountain-like castle was floating on the magma ocean. It is the only building in this world, and the rest of the place is almost endless at a glance. This place is probably bigger than the previous two worlds combined. Chen Zan looked at this vast space and fell into deep thought. If the Naga sea monsters were scattered like before in the Sea of the Cursed, I'm afraid it would not be easy for him to clean up all the wild monsters. Because the area here is too large, to cover all the places, I am afraid that at least 3 forbidden spells will be required. Well, after a moment of silence, Chen Zan suddenly sighed softly, 3 shots, 3 shots. Who told us that the forbidden curse is enough? As he spoke, he waved his hand. With a swish, the 3 little guys jumped out at the same time. Xiaoshui, Xiaoying, and Xiaoya shot at the same time. Forbidden curse. Holy Dragon Ice Soul Slash. Forbidden curse Annihilation Starfield. Forbidden curse Gate of Shadows. Boom boom boom. The 3 forbidden spells bloomed in 3 directions at the same time, and as soon as the terrifying fluctuations emerged, the flame castle floating on the ocean felt the vibration. In an instant, a deep roar resounded from the castle. Who dares to disturb my eternal sleep in my world? Inside the flame castle, a deafening roar sounded in a channel that seemed to be connected to the depths of the flame ocean. At the next moment, a blazing pillar of magma burst out of the underground passage, gushing out of the castle like a volcanic eruption, forming a huge pillar of fire in the sky above. Countless Balrogs emerged from the ocean and hurled towards the fire pillar of the castle. They know that their king, the strongest being who rules this world, the Flame Tyrant, is about to appear. No one can stop the power of the great Flame Tyrant, no one. Stupid human beings, all efforts are in vain in front of the Flame Tyrant. Look, the tyrant will show his mighty power to make the world tremble. Many wise Balrog wild monsters even worshipped fanatically. Buzz. Just at this time, 3 completely different forces of forbidden spells were brewing in the sky. One side is covered with pitch-black shadows, and the other side is made of Zheng Jin's sharp edges, forming countless stars to tear apart the sky and the earth. And in the end, the phantom of the Frost Holy Dragon also condensed out, just facing the direction of the Flame Tyrant. Crash! While the magma was churning, a gigantic human-shaped palm protruded from the pillar of fire, and then saw it pull suddenly, with two horns growing on its head, and flames gushing from its body. A huge figure that looked like a devil emerged from the pillar of fire. Emerge! It held a long halberd, its eyes were filled with flames, and as soon as it appeared with a height of 100 meters, it let out a deafening roar. I, the Flame Tyrant Mercurus, will punish all sinners who disturb the world in the name of flame. It raised the halberd in its hand, and suddenly the magma ocean in the whole world seemed to be summoned. Humble reptiles, get ready to bear my wrath. But just as it finished the last word and was about to prepare its first wave of attacks, it froze for a moment. In the sky in the distance, a Frost Holy Dragon who was much bigger than it was spreading its wings. The Flame Tyrant only uttered a national curse, and saw the Frost Holy Dragon roar, and then turned into countless icy dragon souls to completely envelope him. No, the Flame Tyrant only had time to utter a single word before his voice stopped abruptly. In the distance, Chen Zan, who looked like he was watching a play, watched a series of astonishing scarlet letters floating above the head of the flaming tyrant. The super-long blood bar was almost completely cleared in just a few breaths. Ah! The flame tyrant let out a low growl of unwillingness. It never expected that he had just finished his opening remarks, and before he had time to perform it, he was directly killed in a flash. If there are statistics on the death method of the secret realm boss, it should be the most embarrassing one. When the three forbidden curses were completely subsided, Chen Zan finally heard a notification sound in his mind. Reminder: the secret realm has been cleaned, you can leave at any time. Tip: the countdown to the secret realm will end after you leave. Tip: since you don't belong to any team, please name yourself, otherwise you will be named randomly when you leave. Do you still want a name? Chen Zan suddenly remembered that those who enter this epic secret realm are usually entered by a team, at least a group of 20 people starts. There is no one who kills alone like himself. If that's the case, let's call it Juchen. It's good to ride Juchen and take the lead by a long way. Chen Zan thought for a while and immediately thought of the name. Reminder: the team name has been confirmed as Juchen, are you sure? Yes. Reminder: the team name has been confirmed. It's finally over. The reminder disappeared. Chen Zan looked at the time, it was less than 27 minutes, if he went out now, no one should be able to break the record. But considering that there are still so many harvests that have not been counted, Chen Zan simply continues to wait here for a while. The same terrible record might also arouse the suspicion of other guilds, so they can track him down, which would be bad. After spending nearly 20 minutes, Chen Zan finally took a rough inventory of all the harvest. Looking at the time, at 47 minutes and 59 seconds, Chen Zan waited and waited until the countdown was exactly at 48 minutes and 47 seconds before leaving here. With a buzzing sound, Chen Zan's figure appeared in a dense forest outside the secret realm. At the same time, beside the stele outside the secret realm, a wave of tourists were gathering in front of the stele. An old professional who has received money is introducing it vigorously. Everyone, please see that this secret realm is called Flame Tyrant Castle. This is a very rare epic secret realm, and the team that can complete this secret realm is a very powerful existence. Pointing to the name on the stele, he explained, it's a pity that you only saw the countdown, which means that a team is challenging the secret realm. But what I want to say is that the number 1 team is the Thunder Battleship team of the 9th tier guild Arcane Palace. In order to break this record, they spent a lot of resources and manpower. Quote. Clap clap. He raised his hand and slapped it heavily on the stone tablet, and said proudly, just the record they set, not only dropped the second place by a few blocks, but even since the new one, no team has been able to break it so far. Quote. Hey, uncle, isn't there a team trying to farm the secret realm? Maybe it will be broken. A young professional couldn't help retorting. Ah. The uncle sneered, I'm not boasting, just this record, I will never say it, within a year, it is impossible for anyone to break it, even with their rotten fish and rotten shrimp team, they also want to break the record of the 9th level guild. It's just a dream. As soon as he finished speaking, He saw a silence in the crowd, and not even a single professional responded. Isn't my story compelling enough? According to his original script, many people would question or even refute it at this time, and then it was time to implement his routine. You only need to spend 10 gold coins to register in the register. Once someone breaks the record within a year, you will be refunded 10 times directly. For so many years, this uncle has earned a lot of money by relying on this record. But today, his routine has just started, and no one has followed up. The uncle blinked, but found that all eyes were on him. He looked back subconsciously, and saw that the original timing interface on the steel had disappeared, replaced by the list of the previous leaderboard. The one ranked first was suddenly replaced by a brand new name. The first place, Juchen, belongs to Yuling Pavilion, 9th level record, 48 minutes and 48 seconds. With a bang, the uncle was so startled by the news that just appeared that he sat down on the ground. He opened his mouth wide, eyes full of horror. How many years has this record been kept, and it was broken like this? 48 minutes and 48 seconds. How is it possible? Hey, uncle, didn't you say that the last record was almost 24 hours ago? Why is the new record shortened so much? Yeah, I also said that no one can break it within a year, now it's all over, it's a slap in the face. Why do I feel that his time is a bit weird, as if he deliberately controlled the time? No way, what kind of fairy team is this? Don't mention the secret realm within an hour, how can you still control the time? Is it possible that they are purely for auspiciousness? Among the crowd, a young figure glanced at the record time on the leaderboard, and a smile suddenly appeared on the corner of his mouth. I just said there was a delay. It seems that I guessed it right. Talking softly to himself, Chen Zan slowly withdrew from the crowd. 4,848, posted, he just tried it before, but he didn't expect it to work. With such a record, no one should be able to break it within 5 days, right? But to be on the safe side, Chen Zan decided to leave an anchor point nearby after completing another field boss mission, so that he could come and observe at any time. With Chen Zan's departure, the news that the epic secret realm record was broken directly caused an uproar in the entire Ironwood City, and even the entire Xia Kingdom. What? Yuling Pavilion broke the record of the secret realm of the Flame Tyrant Fortress. In the training center of the 9th-ranked Guild Barbarian Guild headquarters, a muscular man was overjoyed when he heard the news, and threw the iron ball in his hand to the ground with a bang. The words 1,000 tons are engraved on the front of the iron ball. Ha ha ha, well done, those arrogant guys in the Arcane Palace thought they could keep the record and no one could break it, so it's a slap in the face, right? By the way, which team from Yuling Pavilion made the move? UTN, or Hunter? Quote. Neither. An equally strong bald man hesitated for a moment. It's a team called Juchen, and it doesn't even indicate how many people they are. Jichen. Never heard of it. The brawny man froze for a moment, but it doesn't matter, as long as it can make those pharaohs suffer. What is the record this time? It's 48 minutes and 48 seconds. Not bad. This time is less than that of Thunder Battleship. What did you say? Less than an hour. The strong man had just spoken halfway, but suddenly his face changed, and he exclaimed. After getting a nod of approval from the other party, he ran out of the training room with a whoosh. Hey, boss, why are you going? The strong man shouted inexplicably. Go to the theater. After the opponent's figure completely disappeared, a voice came from afar. In the guild headquarters of the Arcane Palace, in a space completely condensed by the elements of thunder, in a magnificent thunder hall, a figure of a middle-aged man sitting quietly in the thunder light with a staff in hand slowly opened his eyes. He raised his hand a little, and a message interface appeared in front of him out of thin air. As the captain of Thunder Battleship, there are not many people who can contact him. When he opened the message, his long and narrow eyes swept slightly. He was calm at first, but when he saw the end, his pupils shrank suddenly. Since when did Yuling Pavilion have such a terrifying team? I don't want to challenge other secret realms, but I chose to break the record of the Thunder Battleship. Is this a provocation? After a while, the man waved his hand, opened the team chat channel, and sent a sentence directly. Attention all Thunder warships, go to Ironwood City immediately, the secret realm of the Flame Tyrant Fortress, it's time to move. Chapter 71. Understood, boss, are we going to break that record? As soon as the group leader spoke, the entire channel instantly became active. Nonsense, if you don't break the record, why don't you go on a trip? But our last record is already at the limit. I really don't know how the Juchen team did it. It took less than an hour, which is outrageous. What nonsense are you talking about? Don't overwhelm your own prestige with other people's aspirations. When will our Thunder battleship be afraid of trouble? It's not a question of being afraid or not, it's a question that can't be solved at all. 48 minutes, can you finish it in your place? Quote, Seeing the quarrel in the channel, the middle-aged man who is the team leader said directly. Okay, Yuan, bring all the refresh scrolls, and that whole card, everyone else hurry up. What, boss, do you really want to use your whole card? We only have one card. The member named Yuan asked directly. Of course, Yuling Pavilion has been at the bottom of the 6 major guilds all these years. Do you think this is just a joke? After being told by the team leader, Yuan was stunned. You mean, they're not just provoking my Thundership, they're provoking the #1 guild in the Arcane Hall. The leader's voice was very low in the entire channel. Please remember, at all costs, we must also guard the dignity of my Thunder battleship. Yes, soon, figures appeared one after another in Ironwood City, and quickly gathered towards the epic secret realm. Look, isn't that the Lord Chu of the Arcane Palace? Why is he here? You don't even know about this. The Thunder warship's secret realm record has been broken. Do you think he can't come? What, just now I saw Yun Zontian, the leader of the Zontian Barbarian Regiment. Hey, the Zontian Barbarian Group and the Thunder battleship have never dealt with each other, so this must be for fun. I'll go, the 2 9th-tier guild groups are here, let's hurry over to join in the fun. What are you waiting for? Hurry up. The already bustling Ironwood City was 10 times busier than usual today. How many professionals never dreamed that they could see so many top bosses from the 9th-tier guild at one time? The entire Flame Tyrant's secret realm is already crowded with people, and the water can't get through. There are even many good people who found the location in advance, started the live broadcast, and broadcast the whole situation here. Because, as everyone knows, the Thunder battleship, the top 100-member regiment of the Arcane Palace, has already appeared. They came here for the secret realm. Since they are here, they are definitely not just watching, but really want to brush the secret realm again. How can such a gimmick not be broadcast live? Ahem, hello everyone, I'm Brother Crazy Live Broadcaster, welcome to my live broadcast room. An afro-haired, avant-garde professional turned on the live broadcast on a high ground, and explained while shooting in the distance. Just now, the record of the epic secret realm of Flame Tyrant Castle, which had been silent for a long time, was directly broken by a mysterious team. And this mysterious team is the Juchen team from Yuling Pavilion, the 9th-level guild. So far, we don't know anything about the Juchen team. We only know that they completed the challenge of the epic secret realm in an exaggerated time of 48 minutes and 48 seconds with an appalling speed. Of course, what was even more explosive was that the Austrian Palace, the 9th-ranked guild in Xia Kingdom, had already heard the news, and the Thunder battleship team had already begun to assemble towards this side. If there is no accident, there will be another secret realm challenge. Can this terrible record be broken again? Can Thunder battleship save face? Can the Juchen team of Yuling Pavilion support a new generation of legends? Pay attention to the live broadcast room. I am Crazy Live Broadcast Brother. This event will be broadcast live for everyone. Quote, he already has tens of millions of fans, and soon attracted many people into the live broadcast room. The news was even more like a storm, quickly sweeping through the entire Xia Kingdom. At the same time, Chen Zan, who was sitting in the hotel suite, happened to be watching the live broadcast. Okay, now I don't need to go to the scene, I can know the result. Curiosity also appeared on Chen Zan's face. He had never dealt with other job changers from the 9th-tier guild, and he didn't know the strength of the other party. Just take advantage of this opportunity to see the situation. Crash. The crowd parted, and gorgeously equipped figures with aloof temperament came from a distance. The leader is wearing a set of thunder magical robe that flashes with lightning. He is tall and thin, with unusually long and narrow eyes. This person is the head of the entire Thunder battleship team, Lord Chu. Behind him, the professionals of the Thunder warships followed closely. Just standing there, their bodies were filled with an unspeakable sense of oppression. There is no need to speak at all, a passage has been automatically opened around. Standing in front of the gate of the secret realm, Lord Chu glanced at the man beside him and asked, "Ah Yuan, is everything ready?" "Get ready." The chubby Yuan nodded solemnly. "I have a total of 3 epic refresh scrolls here, and a whole card that you told me to bring." As he spoke, he hesitated for a moment, then asked again, "Commander, do you want to use that whole card now?" "Need not." Lord Chu waved his hand. "Let's use 2 cards to explore the way first, maybe there are other ways to speed up." He is the head of the regiment, but he is not a reckless man. The other party was able to clear the secret realm so quickly. In Chu Fujun's view, there must be special means. If they can find the trick, maybe they can greatly shorten the secret realm time. With this in mind, Lord Chu released the news directly on the channel. "Attention all members, organize all supplies and equipment in 3 minutes, and show your best condition, just like facing a wild boss, understand?" "Yes." Clear. When everyone was getting dressed, there was another commotion from the crowd, and then several strong men rushed through the crowd and came to Lord Chu. "Yun Zontian, what are you doing here?" The lord of the Chu mansion saw the person coming, and asked expressionlessly. "Ha ha ha, zombie face, let me see your joke." Yun Zontian, who is tall and strong, over 2 meters too, laughed loudly. "How can I rest assured if I don't come to see such a good show?" "Don't worry, it doesn't matter if you fail later, just keep smiling." Ha ha ha. HMPH. I'm afraid I will disappoint you. Lord Chu gave a cold snort. "Okay, it's an honor for me to witness a miracle." Yun Zontian smiled indifferently. "Tisk tisk, but it's a pity, I think this record is a bit exaggerated, I'm afraid your thunder battleship can't do it." "We can't. Could it be that you can fight against the heavenly barbarians?" Lord Chu retorted. "Of course not. It's because our Zontian barbarians have self-knowledge, so we didn't intend to challenge at all, just to watch the excitement." "What do you think?" "Yes. Ha ha ha." Under such cynicism, many mages of Thunder Battleship glared at Yun Zontian and others. However, Mr. Chu just took a cold drink. "Let me go when you are all ready." Hearing this, everyone in the Thunder Battleship looked serious, and then saw the deputy head, a Yuan, raised his hand and shook, and an epic refreshing scroll emerged. Refresh scroll epic. After using it, the cooling time of the target secret realm can be instantly refreshed. The function is very simple, but the value is very expensive. Even an ordinary epic level refreshing scroll can command a sky-high price at the auction. But now, A Yuan flicked without hesitation, and a refreshing scroll disappeared. At the next moment, I saw the steel of the secret realm of the Flame Tyrant Castle tremble slightly. It originally needed a 7-day cooling time, but it was directly refreshed. Seeing this, A Yuan took out a secret realm pass again with a blank face, and directly activated it in the name of Thunder Battleship. All members of the Thunder Fleet group disappeared from their original places at the same time. Teams 1, 2, and 3 stand in the front row, and all other teams don't hold back, and directly sweep the first layer of the world with powerful skills. As soon as he came to the world, Lord Chu's voice resounded through the team channel. "Reserve team reduced by 50%, focus on attack, start." Under the command of Lord Chu, one after another skills emerged one after another. As soon as all the lava monsters emerged from the magma waves, they saw fireworks-like skills calling them down in unison. Boom boom boom. The violent sound was intertwined with the screams of the lava monster, echoing endlessly throughout the world. Outside of the secret realm, many people are waiting for the results of the Thunder Battleship. "I want to see if they can break the record this time." And Chen Zan was in the hotel, eating snacks and drinking luxury red wine, watching the crazy live broadcast guy in the live broadcast room constantly asking for rewards. It is rare to have such a pleasant time. Until the sun sets and the evening falls. When many people chose to leave because they had waited too long, the countdown on the secret realm stone tablet suddenly stopped. 14 hours, 57 minutes and 09 seconds. Buzz. All the members of the Thunder Fleet group appeared around the entrance of the secret realm. There was no joy of completing the secret realm on everyone's faces, but they were dejected. 10 minutes of rest in place, ready for the second round. Mr. Chu Fu said with a still indifferent expression, and then began to prepare various supplies for own. Ha ha ha, zombie face, it seems that your time lag is a bit too much. Yun Zontian naturally jumped out at this time, and said with a smile, what's the matter? Still not convinced, are you? I have investigated this secret realm a long time ago. It is impossible to complete the three-tiered world within an hour. Quote. Then how did Juchen do it? It was rare for Lord Chu to say a word. Nonsense, if I know, why don't I brush it off myself? Yun Zontian sneered, zombie face, why don't you just forget about it, just lose it once, why lose it 3 times? Lord Chu didn't speak, but he could see that his hands arranging the equipment seemed to tremble. Soon, 10 minutes passed, and the Thunder battleship used a refreshing scroll again. Then came another Tong pass. With a flash of light, everyone entered the epic secret realm again. I have to pay attention to the problems I mentioned before, this time, take action. Lord Chu's voice resounded through the channel, and the Thunder battleship group immediately started to bombard the skills indiscriminately again. Fans, you may wish to guess how long it will take for the Thunderbolt battleship to break the record this time. In Crazy Live Brothers' live broadcast room, the anchor began to mobilize the audience's emotions. Even Chen Zan, who was sitting in the hotel, had a look of curiosity on his face. He really wanted to see if this Thunder battleship could break the record this time. As time passed, when the entire secret realm, light surged again. All the onlookers and even the people in the live broadcast room became nervous. On the secret realm steel, the final time freeze still stands at 9 hours, 35 minutes and 21 seconds. Break 10. Although the second result still did not break the record of the entire secret realm, it was several hours higher than before. If it was in the past, this kind of achievement would definitely be amazed by everyone. But now, the gap between 9 hours and 48 minutes is as striking as a natural moat. Boss, we still have one refreshing scroll left, do you want to continue? As the financial officer of the entire Thundership, Yuan couldn't help reminding. Continue. Lord Chu came to a conclusion, this time, use that whole card directly. What, boss, really? Yuan's complexion changed, but he still couldn't help but said, without that card, our field boss will just be. Do as I say. Before he could finish his words, he was directly rejected by Lord Chu. Remember, we are not just a Thunder battleship, but also a palace of arcane magic. After the words fell, Yuan fell silent. No one knew that the last whole card was a scroll of forbidden spells. That's right, it is the Forbidden Curse. This forbidden spell scroll was not obtained from the secret realm, but was inscribed by so many mages from the entire arcane hall. The cost of failure alone is enough to compare with all the harvest of the last 10 epic secret realms. If it fails again this time, the loss this time is simply incalculable. But up to now, the arrow is on the string and has to be launched. After nearly half an hour of trimming, the third refreshing scroll was consumed again. Under the shroud of light, the Thunder battleship group disappeared again. This time, with the assistance of the scroll of forbidden spells, everyone's speed has increased a lot compared to before. But when they reappeared, the time recorded on the secret realm stone tablet was still fixed at 4 hours, 15 minutes and 21 seconds. Outside the entire secret realm, there was silence. Everyone fell into silence when they saw this timing. Lost. Even if the opponent used the forbidden spell scroll, they were defeated. And the defeat was so complete. Mr. Chu looked at the record left by the Thunder battleship. The difference of more than 3 hours made him, who is famous for his zombie face, completely unable to hold back. Just at this time, the burly Yun Zontian appeared again. Ha ha ha, are you angry when you see me appear? Yun Zontian came up to him with a look of wanting to be beaten. Are you angry? Are you angry? Lord Chu did not speak, but his palms were already trembling slightly. I told you not to let you continue, but you didn't listen. Well now, have you even used your whole card? Hee, I know even if you don't tell me, isn't your whole card just a scroll of forbidden spells? There are not a few pieces in the whole arcane hall, and now they are all consumed. Ha ha, quote. Yun Zontian, if you say one more word, I won't be polite to you. The lord of the Chu family, whose 7 orifices were full of smoke, finally couldn't bear to lose his temper. Yun Zontian's eyes flashed with his murderous gaze, but he couldn't help but sneered. What, can't I beat people who came to find fault with me? Yun Zontian's eyes widened. Okay, do you want to hit me? Daddy's hands are itchy, so I'll you first. Seeing Yun Zontian's steadfastness, Mr. Chu was about to make a move, but was pulled back by Ah Yuan, who was next to him. Although there are many people on our side now, after 3 rounds of consumption, the state is already very poor. Besides, Zon Tianmen's combat power should not be underestimated either. It would be too unwise to act at such a time. Being dragged by Ah Yuan, Lord Chu seems to have calmed down. Turning to look at the top-ranked Juchen team on the Secret Realm stone tablet, said coldly. Team Juchen, this matter will not end here. After saying a harsh word, he led the people away from the place. At the same time, through Chen Zan, who was watching the live broadcast in the anchor room, the old god took a sip of the red wine in the glass on the ground. Who is Juchen? I seem to have heard of it somewhere. No one expected that this turbulent Secret Realm challenge would come to an anticlimactic end. From the beginning to the end, no one even saw anyone from the mysterious Juchen team show up. Rumors about the strong rise of Yuling Pavilion have also become popular in these 2 days. The instigator of all this, Chen Zan, has been staying in the hotel for the past 2 days, always paying attention to the situation of the wild boss. In the blink of an eye, 2 days were about to run out, and in the early morning of the 3rd day, Chen Zan's figure quietly appeared outside Ironwood City. The Red Earth Plain, which Chen Zan got from the information, is the location range where the field boss refreshes. With a thought in his mind, the wings of the sky stretched out behind his back, then soared up into the sky. In order to avoid being targeted by other guilds, Chen Zan flew very high this time. Anyway, with the eye of the beginning, he can immediately spot the movements of the bosses in the field. Woohoo! With a gust of wind blowing beside his ears, Chen Zan stood thousands of meters above the void and looked down. This red laterite plain has a panoramic view. Just as he expected, it didn't take long before a series of figures began to fly out from outside the Ironwood City, and spread towards the red soil plain like a fan. In it, Chen Zan suddenly saw the professional of the Arcane Hall who failed to attack the Secret Realm yesterday, Lord Chu. The same Yun Zontian also appeared with people. Compared with yesterday, Yun Zontian seemed much more silent. His eyes glanced at the distant plain from time to time, as if he was looking for something. The teams of the 2 9th-tier guilds have already appeared, which is enough to indicate that the wild boss will appear this time. Even standing in the void, Chen Zan could see other teams other than the 9th-level guild appear. The team of the 8th-level guild is also a must for field bosses. He will not choose to give up just because of the intervention of the 9th-level guild. Even a field boss like this requires multiple teams to cooperate with each other to win it. Therefore, even if there were multiple groups of hundreds of people, it did not cause any conflicts. On the contrary, everyone started to disperse with a tacit understanding, so as to discover the refresh of the wild boss as soon as possible. As time went by, there were professionals everywhere in the vast red clay plain. Among these figures, the lowest ones start at rank 6, and the taller ones even have rank 8 powerhouses moving around. But they never expected that there would be someone watching from a distance just a few kilometers above the sky. Is there only 5 minutes left? Standing in the sky, Chen Zan frowned slightly as he watched the countdown on the task list. This was the first time he felt so urgent doing a task. It's not that you can't beat it, but that the boss doesn't refresh. Tick-tock. The countdown was like a pocket watch held in the palm of his hand, desperately urging Chen Zan's nerves. But on the entire red soil plain, there is still no sign of refreshing. Shouldn't it be so tricky? Failed the first time. Seeing that there were only 3 minutes left in the time, suddenly, in the northeast of the red earth plain, a dazzling light appeared out of thin air. With a swish, Chen Zan almost disappeared from the spot without even thinking about it, and appeared directly above the sky shrouded in light with the help of his anchoring feet. In the light, an extremely huge tentacle suddenly broke out from the red soil plain. This tentacle extended upwards, like a giant pillar of the sky, straight into the sky. Even if you just take a look at it, it is hundreds of meters tall. Just at this time, with a crash, the tentacle split directly from the middle, and countless tentacles spread out densely towards the surroundings. And in the middle, a ferocious flower full of fangs and barbs opened. Chen Zan swept his eyes away when he saw the number 1 scholar. Immediately, the information of the field boss also emerged. The ancestor of the piranha epic boss. Race, Vine. Level, LV 210. Life, 7 million. Magic power, 5 million. Power, 7,000. Agility, 7,000. Spirit, 5,000. Skills, Rapid Regeneration Tier 5, Manipulation of Earth Elements Tier 6, Splitting Tier 7. Battle Power, 700 stars. Evaluation, it's just a small flower, it will be powerful when it grows, don't get close, if you eat it, it will turn into water. This is Chen Zhan's first detailed look at the attributes of a field boss, and it's the same as the previous Flame Tyrant. After reaching the epic level, the word boss will be added after their name interface. As long as you bring this, you will get the exclusive bonus of the boss. Not only the three-dimensional attributes will skyrocket several times compared to the same rank, but the blood volume and mana volume will also directly increase by 100 times. This is exactly the same as Chen Zhan's God's Blessing. While Chen Zhan was checking the information, more than a dozen groups of hundreds had already rushed towards the wild boss. Attention Zontian Barbarian Group. Activate all buffs. Hold the hatred in the front row, and follow up in time with the priest's blessing and treatment in the rear. Holding a big sword wider than the door panel, Yun Zontian charged forward with a low shout. If you want to get the final ownership of this field boss, the most important thing is not how many bursts you play, but whether it can hold its hatred before the entire boss death. To put it simply, no matter what you do, as long as it dies, the person it hates the most is you. Swish swish swish. More than 80% of the Zontian barbarians are melee fighters. At this time, they directly surrounded the ancestor of the piranha like a pair of big hands. Relying on their own advantages of high attack and thick blood, they became the team that immediately held back the hatred of the ancestor of the piranha. On the other hand, Lord Chu of the Thunder Warship also waved his hand, and a series of Thunder-type skills with paralysis fell on the ancestor of the piranha. The professional who also has the melee mage profession took advantage of this time. Come forward, fight for hatred with the Zontian Barbarian Group. All this is a long story, but in fact it only happened within a minute. But when everyone just started to fight against the piranha ancestor, Chen Zhan, who was standing above the sky, frowned slightly. Temporarily took out a voice-changing skill book bought from the guild mall to learn. The next moment, the deep words pierced through the clouds and resounded throughout the battlefield. I'll give you 30 seconds to leave here. I want this boss. In an instant, all the professionals who were still shooting paused slightly, and looked around in unison. Who dared to say the words of forcing a boss in front of so many powerful people? Who on earth has the courage? Who's talking? Many professionals couldn't help but look up at the sky, but after a slight scan, they could only see the cover of countless clouds. Don't pay attention to him. I don't know which person who hides his head and shows his tail is just bluffing here. If it's really that easy to grab a field boss, then it's all about pretending to be a ghost. Quote. That's right, there are all kinds of forests when the bird is big, how can such a clumsy trick scare us away? Even if it can scare us off, it can't scare off the hundreds of members of the 2 9th-tier guilds. It makes sense. Everyone was outputting and discussing at the same time. They didn't pay any attention to Chen Zhan's warning from the beginning to the end. Chen Zhan's brows fluctuated slightly when he saw this scene. If you've already said hello, then don't blame me. Talking softly to himself, he glanced at Xiao Yan hovering above his head. Xiao Yan, since this guy is a plant, he should be afraid of fire. Chirp, Xiao Yan yelled and was about to open his mouth. Hey, remember to put all the cores on the boss. If you fail, I will spank your ass. After continuous growth, the little ones became more and more able to control the forbidden spell. Even so, Chen Zhan still couldn't help reminding. Chirp, Xiaoyan yelled, as if to say look at me. With a low groan, countless fire elements frantically condensed in the sky. At the next moment, a shrouding the heavens covered the sun, and the huge scarlet flame fire phoenix began to condense in the sky. The terrifying high temperature and blazing flames tore apart the thick clouds at this moment, completely appearing in the sky above the red earth plane. Crazy. A cry that pierced through gold and cracked stone made everyone have to stop their movements and looked up subconsciously. Immediately, he saw a red flame fire phoenix appearing in the void, covered in flames. My God, What kind of beast is this? The breath is so strong. It must have been the one who spoke just now. What should we do? It looks like it has already locked us in. How many people couldn't help but panic when they saw this scene? But at this moment, Yun Zontian, who was still attacking wildly, changed his expression and let out a loud shout. Go, it's a skill. With a swish, a teleportation scroll appeared out of thin air in his hand, directly including most of the surrounding teammates. Not far away, Lord Chu also shrank his pupils when he saw this scene. Why is this breath so similar to that scroll of forbidden spells? In the secret realm that they just failed yesterday, when the thunder-type forbidden spell scroll exploded, it might have such power. Thinking of this, he immediately roared in the channel. Run, run! Before many people could react, they saw the huge figure of the Scarlet Flame Fire Phoenix swooping down in the sky. In an instant, the phantoms of tens of thousands of Scarlet Flames and Fire Phoenixes crashed down from the sky. Forbidden Curse, Wangwang Nirvana Flame. The phantoms of tens of thousands of Scarlet Flames and Fire Phoenixes crashed down towards the ancestor of the piranha with shocking waves. I saw a series of scarlet letters that were as bright as blood floating out of the head of the ancestor of the piranha. The original millions of blood bars were about to be cleared almost instantly. But just when the blood bar had only 1% HP left, a dazzling light suddenly burst out from the root of the ancestor of the piranha. Just at this moment, the blood bar that was about to be emptied was abruptly locked at the 1% position. Reminder: the wild boss piranha ancestor epic has triggered the blood lock buff, and the buff will disappear after 3 seconds. Not only Chen Zan, but also all the figures who had attacked the ancestor of the piranha received the same message. What? Blood lock buff? Isn't this too unlucky? It can even be triggered. Yun Zontian appeared from 100 miles away from the Red Earth plane, and couldn't help but exclaimed when he saw the reminder. Generally, bosses above the epic level have a rumor that when dying, there is a chance to trigger a buff that can lock blood to the limit. The probability of this is very low, and generally not the case. But once triggered, all attacks will be completely ineffective during the blood lock period. As for the boss itself, it will directly return to a half-health state during this period. For any team, as long as they encounter this once, they will probably encounter the crisis of group destruction. Everyone could clearly see that the blood bar that was about to be cleared was completely restored to half blood in just 3 seconds. At the same time, the mana that was also restored also began to cause terrifying elemental fluctuations on the ancestor of the piranha, obviously brewing a terrible skill. Everyone who reacted began to flee desperately. Just now, the forbidden spell controlled the core strength to avoid causing heavy blows to them. So much so that most of the professionals survived the pouring of powerful skills just now. But now, the ancestor of the piranha with the blood lock buff is indistinguishable from friend or foe. Its countless tentacles, whose anger was exploding, began to attack everything around it indiscriminately. There are even many professionals who are not in a hurry to escape, and are directly entangled by the vine tentacles. Ah, help, help me. Professionals who have lost their resistance can't help shouting even if they are rank 6 existences. But all his struggles were in vain. He could only watch helplessly as he was pulled towards the ancestor of the piranha by the tentacles. Unprecedented despair enveloped his heart, and there was never a moment when the professional felt that he was so close to death. At this moment, a Taoist-shaped figure suddenly enveloped the void above the sky. This figure was wearing a long black dress and had 2 horns on his head. His face seemed to be obscured by clouds and mist. But that terrifying aura full of oppression is like a queen who dominates the world. As soon as the figure appeared, he raised his hand a little towards the ancestor of the piranha below. A dark and cold, like a real sickle emerged from the void. The terrifying blade seemed to have no end in sight, and with just a flash, it swept across the void and slashed heavily at the ancestor of the piranha. Click. Invisibly, as if the knife had slashed everyone's hearts, the violent ancestor of the piranha just trembled. Forbidden Curse Soul Dimension Slash. A single forbidden curse directly attacks the soul. In an instant, the soul of the ancestor of the piranha was completely annihilated, and the blood bar that had just recovered half of its blood only flashed for a moment, and then it was completely emptied. Laugh. Click. The ancestor of the piranha, which was still raging, suddenly stopped as if it had been immobilized. In an instant, how many professionals survived the catastrophe? This actually stopped. Am I saved? What's going on? Is there something wrong? No, the attack just now seems to have directly killed the ancestor of the piranha. That's right, I felt it, as if a knife had been drawn across my body, almost splitting my soul. It's terrible, the wild bosses with chain blood buffs can be killed instantly. Who the hell is this? Run. If the attack was aimed at us just now, you won't even have a soul left. Outside the boundary of the Red Earth Plain, Yun Zontian's figure appeared in front of Lord Chu in some embarrassment. In terms of drawing hatred, the Thunder Battleship is definitely not as good as the Zontian Barbarian Group, but in terms of escape defense, the Thunder Battleship is worse than the Zontian Barbarian Group. Zombie face, do you see which boss made the move? Yun Zontian didn't make fun of him as usual, but took the initiative to ask. I don't know. Mr. Chu shook his head. We don't have such an existence in the Arcane Palace. This is a fire type and soul type skill. Judging by its strength, it must exceed the 9th level. It is probably a forbidden spell skill. Forbidden curse. Yun Zontian frowned thickly. Why does this kind of existence want to snatch such epic wild monsters? It doesn't make sense. HMPH, so what if it makes sense but doesn't make sense? Lord Chu said something coldly, and then disappeared with the person. Let's go. Let's go back too. When Yun Zontian saw that Lord Chu disappeared, he also waved his hand and wanted to leave. Boss, is this the field boss? A team member subconsciously asked. What if it doesn't matter? Yun Zontian glared at him angrily. Do you want to take another curse? Ahem. The team member coughed dryly, but still couldn't help muttering, forbidden spells are not Chinese cabbage. He cast 2 forbidden spells in succession. Maybe now is the right time. Fart. Yun Zontian cursed angrily. Are you a vegetarian when you were a 9th rank boss? Which team are you in? I kick out this kind of ignorant waste, and the Zontian barbarians don't want it. Just as many job changers were desperately fleeing out of the Red Earth Plain, Chen Zan was listening to the own mission prompt above the sky. Hint: you killed the field boss, the ancestor of Piranha's epic. Reminder: the task of the 2nd link has been completed, and the task of the 3rd link has been released. Task name: Epic Boss Challenge Chapter 2. Mission Introduction. Congratulations to your brave adventurer, you have taken the first step. Oh, but this is only the first step. If you want to become a strong person, continue to take the 2nd step. Task target: kill any wild epic boss. Task time limit: 3 days. Punishment for mission failure: job transfer mission cleared. Reminder: the mission countdown has started. Sure enough, it's still an epic boss, isn't it? Chen Zan was not too surprised when he heard the prompt, because he had already guessed when the mission was the first chapter. Will the next few rings be all about killing epic field bosses? Now it seems that it is almost the same as what he guessed. There is no time to waste. With the experience of previous missions, Chen Zan realized that the time limit of these 3 days was too tight. He simply waved his hand to take away all the gains from killing the boss, and then activated the anchoring feat, and his figure directly appeared in his hotel. After going through the departure procedures directly, Chen Zan opened the refresh map of the field boss again. This time he decided to change his strategy and couldn't target a wild boss. If he encounters a delay in refreshing the boss in the field, wouldn't he fail the mission? Chen Zan couldn't bear the punishment for failing this mission. Therefore, his strategy is to run through all the recently refreshed field boss locations recorded first, and then pay attention to all news after leaving the anchor point. As long as there is a wild boss anywhere, he can rush there immediately. Next, Chen Zan was so busy that he continued to circulate among the various teleportation stations, almost coming out of here, and he would be teleported to the next city in a short time. And his anchor point map has also been rapidly enriched in just 1 day. At the same time, while Chen Zan was busy drawing the map of the anchor points, in the headquarters of the Arcane Palace, in a quiet magic hall, around a round conference table, illusory figures emerged one after another. Some of these figures were flipping through books, while others were experimenting with different magic elements. But at the center of the round table, the scene of Chen Zan killing the ancestor of the piranha was playing. This is the image data submitted by someone sent by Lord Chu of Thunder Battleship. One of them, an old man with a white beard who couldn't see his face clearly, said proactively. Everyone can take a look. which hidden existence is this? Judging from the situation of the whole scene, the skill released before must be a forbidden fire spell, but what puzzles me is that the speed at which the other party releases the forbidden spell is too amazing. Another phantom who was still flipping through books raised questions. And it's a strange beast phantom skill similar to the phoenix bird. I suspect that the one who released the skill should be a strange beast, and this professional is probably a beast master. What? Beast master? The other figure was stunned for a moment. Could it be someone from the Yuling Pavilion? But in the Yuling Pavilion now, the lineage of Yusho is no longer good. I don't agree with the point of view of the beast master, because the two skills are very different, which does not meet the general situation of the beast master. Maybe this is not just 1 9 cycles, but the result of 2 9 cycles jointly releasing the forbidden spell. Quote. 2 9 cycles. Just kidding, we know almost all 9 cycles professionals in the entire Xia Kingdom. One is already very strange. How come 2 suddenly appear? Then what are you talking about? Except for 9 cycles professionals, who can say that you can cast a forbidden spell if you cast a forbidden spell. Old man Lin, what you said is wrong. Do you think the curse is Chinese cabbage? Even 9 cycles can't just be released, right? Let alone released to him so fast. While everyone was arguing, suddenly on the chair facing the door at the round table, a layer of magical elements began to condense, and then turned into dots of starlight to form an illusory figure. Seeing this scene, all the previously busy conference personnel stopped their movements and bowed at the same time. Hellmaster. An ethereal voice sounded from the illusory shadow. It was the president of the Arcane Hall and the strongest person in the entire guild, known as the existence of the Hall Master. There is no need to argue. If my guess is correct, the professional who made the shot should be the Master of Vientiane. Master of Vientiane. Everyone was taken aback when they heard this, as they couldn't seem to find any relevant information in their minds. But then a rather old man suddenly exclaimed, Hall Master, you mean the one from Yuling Pavilion 100 years ago? Good. The Palace Master's answer made everyone's complexion change and they exclaimed. What? The Vientiane Master who turned Yuling Pavilion into a 9th level guild before 100 years. Hasn't he already passed away? Yes, it is said that he failed to ignite the fire. How could he still be alive? Even I'm still alive, so it doesn't seem strange that he can live. The Hall Master suddenly smiled, and said a word that silenced everyone. Indeed, the Lord of the Arcane Hall has stepped into 9 cycles for decades, and is still alive and well so far. Then Palace Master, what should we do next? Response. The Hall Master seemed to raise his head. They are all professionals from the Xia Kingdom, so there is no need to deal with them. As for those below rank 8, no matter how much you toss around, it won't affect that one. After a pause, he seemed to think of something, and said again. Everyone, it won't be long before the world will change. As soon as these words came out, everyone's expressions changed, and the atmosphere in the entire conference room froze instantly. It was even more shocking than the news about that person's identity just now. Because, the existence that can control the Arcane Palace is not only amazing in magic attainments, but also has an ability that is beyond the reach of everyone, named, spying on life. Peep into fate. Can see the illusory trajectory of fate, so according to the change of trajectory, change own fate. This kind of ability is not enough to describe it with heaven-defying. Hellmaster, did you see something? After a while, an old man couldn't help asking dryly. The Hall Master nodded slowly. I paid a little price and saw the war. War? Is the Xia Kingdom Guild going to war with each other? No, it's a world war. The voice of the Hall Master already shocked everyone. An unprecedented and terrifying war will sweep the entire world, including Xia Kingdom of course. Then, Palace Master, is Xia Guo's fate good or bad? I can't see it. The Hall Master shook his head slightly, so, no matter what the result is, it's time to get ready. After the words fell, his figure slowly disappeared on the seat. Only a group of people were left looking at each other. After a while, everyone disappeared without saying a word. They all know that even if the Palace Master only sees the fate for a moment, it is basically doomed. Before the war came, they, the top overlords, naturally had to make more preparations. On the other hand, after a day of hard work, Chen Zan finally managed to anchor all the maps refreshed by most of the field bosses in the entire Xia Kingdom, and even paid attention to many anchors who liked to broadcast live broadcasts of field bosses. With the help of these anchors, he felt that he would not miss any chance to refresh wild bosses. After finishing all this, Chen Zan returned directly to Frost City, quietly waiting at home for the field boss to refresh. He thought it would take a long time, but he didn't expect that after only a few hours, at 2 o'clock in the morning, an anchor named Li Bold Wild Boss suddenly showed a push. Family, the breaking news is coming. The sky is like water and the waves are raging. It seems that a wild boss has started to spawn. Boldly will risk his life to bring you the first-line live news throughout the process. Remember to give me a thumbs up. As the sky is blue as water. A gleam of light flashed in Chen Zan's eyes when he heard the name. Tiankang Ruishui is a vast river outside Mokang City, the capital of Kangzhou. It is also one of the places where field bosses refresh. Slowly sitting up from the bed, Xiao Ke, who was waiting by the side, directly opened his big watery eyes. Among the 6 little ones, she is the only one who doesn't need to sleep and can stay by Chen Zan's side all the time. Looking at the others, Xiaoying and Xiaoshui twisted their bodies and hugged Chen Zan's thigh, sleeping very soundly. Because Xiaoyan was pressed under Xiaoshui several times, now she can only hide by the bedside. Only Xiaoya and Xiaowu were still stuck to Chen Zan's shoulders. No matter how much they tossed about, they were sound asleep. Wake up, time to work, Chen Zan sighed helplessly, and began to urge. However, it was said that Xiaoshui and Xiaoying just turned over and were still sound asleep. Xiaowu, Xiaoya, it's time to wake up. Chen Zan pushed the 2 little guys on his shoulders. Ah, Wu. In response to him, except for the cry, there was still no movement. Well, Chen Zan put his hand on his forehead and sighed softly, looks like it's time to use the trump card. After a pause, he shouted at the top of his voice. Dinner is ready. Swish. Xiaoying and Xiaoshui jumped up almost immediately, looking around incomparably swiftly. Where do you want to eat? Xiaowu and Xiaoya opened their eyes at the same time, looking around in a daze. It was like a dream about delicious food just now. Let's go. Start work. Come back for supper. When they heard that there was a late-night snack, the little ones became excited. They are more willing to eat human delicacies than those materials that improve their own level. The roasted golden barbecue, the thick soup, and the fragrant rice simply make them linger. After getting dressed, Chen Zan raised his hand and brought all the little guys into the contract space, and then disappeared from the spot with a thought. Kangzhou, Mo Kangcheng. The sky is as blue as the water, and the vast and incomparably vast river is setting off terrifying waves at this time. The professionals who were originally spawning monsters around have already run away in fright. At this time, above the river, figures stood there shining with various colors of light. If Chen Zan was here, he would definitely be able to recognize that one of the figures was the Lord Chu who had previously competed for the wild boss on the Red Soil Plain. Since Thunder Battleship failed to challenge the Secret Realm in a 3-in-a-row last time, it even used up the only whole card of the Scroll of Forbidden Spells. I thought I could farm a field boss later to recover the cost. But I didn't expect that a mysterious strongman turned out from behind, and actually deprived the field boss directly. Missing twice in a row, the always proud Lord Chu couldn't accept it. That's why the entire Thunder Battleship locked onto this field boss that was about to be refreshed again, and was ready to do a big fight. Boss, the Zontian barbarians didn't see it, so they probably wouldn't come. Ah Yuan, who was not tall at the side, reported. Well, if they don't come, there can't be any mistakes this time. Lord Chu nodded, and instructed, we will act according to the tactics we arranged earlier to ensure that the hatred is always on our side. Clear. Ah Yuan nodded. It was not the first time Thunderbolt had done this kind of thing, so he was naturally familiar with it. Ah! Suddenly a deep neighing sound came out from the water. The next moment, the waves turned upside down. A giant blue python with a length of 200 meters suddenly rushed out from the bottom of the water, and roared to the sky. It's Tian Kang Mo Jiao, the boss has been refreshed. Hurry up, Thunderbolt Battleship belongs to the front row of Thunderbolt Spellbreakers, and the rest of the mages will follow me. The priest keeps up, the buffs add up, hurry up. With a sizzling sound, the grid formed by intertwined thunder and lightning completely enveloped the entire Tianjiao Mojiao. Hiss! Tianjiao Mojiao let out a roar, and there was a thunderbolt brewing on a sarcoma on the top of his head, and he began to tear the surrounding thunder net continuously. But it was clear that the thunder battleship had expected this long ago, releasing one after another of its skills, and began to paralyze it continuously, preventing the opponent from tearing. At the same time, various skills greeted him one after another, and he could clearly see a series of red numbers floating above the head of Tianjiao Mojiao. Seeing this scene, Lord Chu felt at ease. If there were no accidents, this field boss should be captured by their thunder battleship. However, at this moment, above the clouds in the sky, an incomparably low voice suddenly sounded. "Give you 30 seconds to leave, this boss, I want it." The deep words resounded on the battlefield, and others didn't feel it, but all the members of the entire thunder battleship couldn't help but tremble in their hearts. What happened? Why is this voice so familiar? Could it be that the terrifying mysterious strongman from before came to grab the boss again? This senior, just a field boss, why is he so persistent? Lord Chu's complexion darkened, and he shouted to the sky, "If you can let go, I will be grateful to the Arcane Palace." Up to now, he can only draw out the whole cards behind him. After all, relying on the thunder battleship alone is no longer enough to make the opponent retreat. However, at the next moment, what responded to him was a forbidden curse that condensed endless sharpness white tiger to kill the world. Ah! The same huge white tiger phantom screamed in the void, and then turned into thousands of sharp blades and shrouded the sky Kang Mojiao below. Seeing this scene, Mr. Chu's face turned black as a pot. He wanted to resist, but he couldn't muster the slightest courage in front of such terrifying skills. Walk! Gritting his teeth and saying this word, thunder battleship left here again with endless unwillingness. Rumble! As soon as their figures disappeared, the terrifying forbidden curse suddenly fell. -289,000. -357,600. -324,500. After countless critical hit numbers jumped one after another, Kang Mojiao raised his head to the sky and let out a long, unwilling cry that day, and then fell completely into the sky like water. Epic level boss, die. Reminder: you have killed Tianjiao Mojiao. Epic boss. The third stage of the mission has been completed, and the fourth stage is now open. Task name: Epic Boss Challenge Chapter 3. Sure enough, after Chen Zan completed the second chapter, the task of the third chapter is still to challenge the epic boss. This is not a bad thing for him, but a good thing. Chen Zan is ready, now he just needs to look for other refreshed epic bosses. Chen Zan, who was free, suddenly thought, since we are here, why not just wait for a few days in Mokang City? There happens to be an epic secret realm here, and go directly to break the record, which can just improve the progress of another time limit task. Chen Zan wondered if there would be other unknown clues after he obtained the golden orb. Boss, the field boss has failed, but we still have an epic secret realm here that can be used. Seeing that Lord Chu's mood was a little depressed, Yuan and the others couldn't help persuading him. Yeah, I've seen this epic secret realm. The previous team belonged to the Barbarian Society. The record is not high, just so we can break it. By the time of settlement at the end of the month, there will be an extra guild point. Quote. That's right, we are indeed inferior to those barbarians in terms of pulling monsters, but in terms of cleaning up the secret realm, the Thunder Battleship will definitely crush them. Yes, it happens that we have enough equipment and preparations, so we can make a lot of money. Hearing so many team members talking like this, Lord Chu was silent for a moment before he waved his hand. Go, brush the secret realm directly. Yes, Chen Zan, who had just purchased a pass, rushed to the entrance of the secret realm after the Thunder Battleship entered the epic secret realm called the Ghost Hades. As this being preempted, Chen Zan frowned and looked at the stone tablet at the entrance of the secret realm, and couldn't help sighing. Is it so difficult to create a secret realm? Fortunately, this epic secret realm should not be a multi-layered world, and the record should be relatively fast. All the money for his pass has been spent, so he can't just forget it. So after Chen Zan found an anchor point around, he returned to the hotel directly. This kind of secret realm is not something that anyone can just swipe, don't worry about missing it. Ha ha ha, this trip really didn't come in vain, the lightning skills are really the nemesis of these ghosts. A few hours later, the cheerful laughter of the Thunder Battleship group resounded outside the secret realm of the ghostly underworld. This was the happiest they had been in a few days. Not only swept this epic secret realm, but also successfully broke the original record of nearly 15 hours with a time of 9 hours, 06 minutes and 12 seconds. Finally, the people who were devastated one after another let out a sigh of relief. Even the look on Chu Fujun's face is much better. Don't be too happy, rest up for 2 days, and prepare to find the next field boss. That is the focus of our search. Clear. The Thunder Battleship left with a large number of people preparing to rest. The refresh time of the epic secret realm is based on the time consumed by the secret realm itself. The longer the consumption time, the longer the refresh time. This ghostly Hades only needs 18 hours to complete a refresh. The figure of Chen Zan emerged just as the specter Hades had just been refreshed. Then he flicked the pass in his hand, and it turned into a ray of light and sent it in. It wasn't until his figure completely disappeared that the professional guarding the secret realm looked at the steel suspiciously and blinked. Strange, how long has it been? Someone went in to challenge again. He looked around, a little uncertainly. I didn't see anyone, could it be a group of 10 people? As he spoke, he shook his head with a smile. It is estimated that the second-generation ancestor of another family came to experience life. After saying that, he just sat aside and drank the freshly prepared tea. This is the top quality tea that I specially asked someone to bring from other places. A pot is worth more than 300 gold coins. So you have to savor carefully and slowly. Hiss. Ah. The old man shook the chair, took a sip from the teapot, and said intoxicatedly, "It smells good. It smells so good." After an unknown amount of time, while he was sipping the tea, he suddenly looked at the secret realm steel from the corner of his eye, and then his body stopped suddenly. Am I reading it wrong? He blinked vigorously, and after he was sure that he was not mistaken, his palm suddenly trembled, and he slipped the teapot in his hand to the ground, only to hear a click. The teapot shattered, and most of the tea in it was scattered in all directions. But the old man didn't care about his distress. He rushed to the secret realm steel, looked at the records left on it, and exclaimed, 18 minutes and 18 seconds. How is it possible? How is it possible? What? Just now, the Juchen team broke our record again. In the hotel where Thunder Battleship stayed, the financial officer Yuan exclaimed in disbelief. At 18 minutes and 18 seconds, the deputy team, I suspect that this team is completely targeting us on purpose, and the time control can't be so precise, right? The momentum of the entire Thunder Battleship that had just recovered collapsed again because of this news. Let's go and swipe now. I don't believe we can't beat them. What the hell, do you still have the scroll of Forbidden Curse? I really can't figure it out. Is he using the Forbidden Spell scroll to brush the secret realm? Isn't this too bad? Did someone accidentally offend a certain boss in Yuling Pavilion? Tell me, could it be that your kid is having an affair with a female professional from Yuling Pavilion? Impossible, the ones I like are not from Yuling Pavilion. That's right, maybe their husband belongs to Yuling Pavilion. You scumbag, it's all your fault. An extremely funny scene began to appear on the entire Thunder Battleship, and everyone was thinking whether someone accidentally offended a big boss of the Yuling Pavilion, so that people targeted it so much. In fact, how did they know that this was purely accidental injury? Don't guess anything else, let's continue to prepare for the next field boss. I don't believe it, the strong one will come this time. The proud Lord Chu has already made up his mind that he must vent his anger on the boss in the field. 2 days later, Dongzhou, Hanshui City, and Buried Snow Mountain Range. Reporting to the head, the investigation at the altitude of 3,000 meters has been completed, and no signs of any professionals have been found. Reporting to the leader, the investigation of Fang Yuan has been completed for 300 miles, and no signs of professionals have been found. Reporting to the head, the investigation of the 100 meters underground has been completed, and no signs of professionals have been found. After hearing the report, Lord Chu looked at the ice-fire two-headed chimera boss who had just woken up in the distance, and thought to himself, "You won't come to grab my boss again this time, right?" With this in mind, the Thunder Battleship Centurion opened up again and rushed towards the opponent. However, at the moment they just started, the frightening voice sounded again in the sky. "I'll give you 30 seconds to get out of here. I want this boss. I'll give you 30 seconds to get out of here. I want this boss. At the same time as these words resounded, the nightmare of being dominated instantly enveloped the hearts of everyone in Thunderbolt Battleship. Almost without thinking, the moment the voice fell, all the Thunder Warship professionals were still cursing, and they had already been teleported away. I can't compete with such a boss. Mr. Chu's family just felt that his heart was about to suffocate a mouthful of blood, but he had nowhere to vent it. No way, the Thunder Battleship aimed at another epic secret realm. However, before they swiped this time, they saw that the record on the leaderboard of the secret realm Steel had just been updated. No. 1. Juchen, affiliated to the guild, Yuling Pavilion. Elapsed time, 36 minutes and 36 seconds. A familiar name, a familiar guild, and a time-controlling time that is so familiar that you can no longer be familiar with it. The moment the incomparably haughty Lord Chu Fu saw the record on the secret realm Steel, he fainted without any suspense. When he woke up again, an explosive news spread from the entire circle of professionals in the Sha Kingdom. Thunder Battleship Group is betting on 1 year's team income to challenge the Juchen team of Yuling Pavilion. All go, what's the situation? The Thunder Battleship actually challenged other teams. Isn't it over for Juchen? It's over. I'm afraid it's not Shileji. Do you know why you challenged it? The Thunder Battleship is about to be broken by the Juchen team for the Secret Realm record. What? Juchen is so hanging. Why haven't I heard of it before? How do I know? Now all the major guilds want to find the leader of the Juchen team, but unfortunately none of them succeeded. Some people even offered huge rewards on the black market, but they got nothing. It's too scary. According to legend, there must be a 9th level boss in this team, or even more than one. What? More than one? How is it possible? Is there anything impossible? Look at all the records that Juchen has broken, all of them are precisely timed, within a second. Do you think that if this team is not perverted enough, how can it be so strong that it can even control the time at will? Quote. Hiss. Controlling time, this is really scary to think about. If Chen Zan was there, I'm afraid I can't help admiring their imagination. In fact, he is really just purely for auspiciousness. As for the challenge from the Thunder Battleship, Chen Zan didn't even bother to pay attention. Are you kidding? Let me challenge the opponent's 100-member group alone. That is too bullying, right? Even if he could instantly kill them all with a forbidden spell, he wouldn't be able to kill them all at once, would he? And even if you beat them all to death, so what if you win? Who can give himself a year's income? As for not using the forbidden spell, Chen Zan never thought about it, because it was too dangerous and the probability of failure was almost 1%. For the sake of his own safety, Chen Zan felt that he couldn't take any risks. This was just a small episode. The rest of the time Chen Zan began to look for the refreshment of wild bosses throughout Sha Kingdom. I don't know if it's because he is too famous, but whenever he appeared, almost as soon as he opened his mouth, all the job changers scattered and fled. This saved him a lot of trouble. It took only 2 days for Chen Zan to successfully kill 3 wild bosses, and finally completed 3 rounds of wild boss challenges without any risk. At the same time, the job transfer task of the 6th link is also announced to be completed. Just when he thought that the task of the 7th link was still to challenge the boss, he didn't expect it to change. Task name: Blood of Justice. Mission introduction. Lin, the elf who has been devastated by the Titan tribe, has been longing for the return of their warriors who traveled far away, beheading each other with powerful strength, and bringing true peace and tranquility from then on. Task target: kill the leader of the Titan tribe and collect a piece of blood. Mission location: Linzhou Relic Forest. Task time limit: no time limit. Collection mission. After seeing the mission prompt, Chen Zan came to a conclusion. First, he had to find the elf forest, then kill the leader of the Titan tribe, and collect a piece of blood. According to the objective of the mission, this blood should be the so-called blood of justice. Although this task is not particularly clear, but fortunately, Chen Zan can have time to take a breather during the time limit. However, after looking up the information about Linzhou in the guild, he discovered that the relic forest is a lush jungle that can't be seen. And there has never been any elf forest in it. Could it be that this elf forest is a secret realm hidden in the relic forest? Chen Zan had previous experience in the Mermaid Ancient City, and guessed that it might be a similar situation. As long as you find that secret realm, it is not difficult to complete the task. Anyway, if a forbidden curse goes on, everything should be solved. After figuring this out, Chen Zan decided to go to Linzhou to find out the situation first, and then break the remaining 2 secret realm records. He also heard from old man Feng Ling that when each secret realm record is settled at the end of the month, it will directly reward the top 10 on the leaderboard with a certain amount of guild points. This is also another way to improve one's own authority besides guild tasks. It's just that, generally, secret realm records are accessed as a group, and even if the points are distributed at that time, it will not be distributed to each member. So the old man Feng Ling only raised his mouth at that time, and didn't say much. But it was different for Chen Zan. All the secret realms he created were created by himself. The so-called Juchen team was only him from the beginning to the end. In this way, no matter how many points are settled, they can all fall on him. There is still 1 day left. Chen Zan is going to get this done first. Linzhou, Yuanling City. Outside the secret realm of the Zerg Brood Epic, after Chen Zan left a record of 58 minutes and 58 seconds, he rushed to the next location without stopping. Outside Green Bamboo City, outside Pansy Tales Epic Secret Realm, Chen Zan successfully left a record of 18 minutes and 18 seconds after blasting 3 forbidden curses inside. In this way, he successfully completed 5 epic secret realm challenge missions, and finally got the long-awaited golden orb. However, the last record needs to be kept for more than 5 days to complete the task. So Chen Zan just needs to wait. When Chen Zan returned to Yuanling City, the first thing he thought of was to find a place to dispose of all the harvest he had gained in the past few days. If you have the opportunity, you can buy some materials to improve the strength of the 6 little guys in large quantities. It can't be that he completed the 4th turn, and the 6 little guys still stay below LV 90. Moreover, the little deposit in his hand has already been consumed in successive secret realm passes, and if he does not receive it, he may be returned to his original form. Yuanling City is located at the southern end of Xia Kingdom. Even before the game invaded, it had always been a bustling city, and now it is a place where many material companies gather. Chen Zan plans to choose the local cat company here to ship. After all, he is used to cooperation before. However, before going as usual, he still contacted Lu Xiaoya first. It is said that the other party has been promoted and will take up the post at the land cat firm in Yunyang City soon. Sister Ya, I want to ship from the cat shop in Yuanling City, do I need to call in advance? Chen Zan dialed the video call and got straight to the point. Are you in Yuanling City? It was already off-duty time for Lu Xiaoya, who was wearing a silk tulle nightgown, which perfectly set off her perfect curves. Hearing this, she smiled charmingly, and gently put down the goblet in her hand. It's simple, I will report the news to the headquarters in a while, and let the supervisor there receive you directly tomorrow. Oh, it seems that Sister Ya has a lot of power now. Chen Zan was stunned for a moment, and couldn't help but make a joke. Heck, it's all thanks to Mr. Chen that I, Lu Xiaoya, can be where I am today. Lu Xiaoya smiled like a flower and said, besides, as our black gold customer, even without me, the supervisor over there would still be eager to please you. Is that so? Then I don't think Sister Ya has ever flattered me. Chen Zan nodded and said casually. Heck, I've always wanted to please Mr. Chen, but I didn't have the chance. As she spoke, she leaned lazily on the back of the chair, her dual cultivation length thighs were wrapped in fishnet stockings, and she casually raised them up on the coffee table. Through the stockings, one can clearly see the playful toes quivering inside. The seductive red lips were sprayed with heavy lip gloss. She looked at Chen Zan's handsome face on the other side, and pouted. Well, Mr. Chen, how do you want me to please you? Oh, seeing the slightly provocative look on Lu Xiaoya's face, Chen Zan asked with a half-smile. Sister Ya, what does this mean? Sister Ya looked at Chen Zan with her beautiful eyes like autumn water for a moment, then she hooked her fingers provocatively. Can you do it, little dog? Chen Zan's pupils shrank slightly, and he was a little angry. Although his relationship with Lu Xiaoya was only a relatively friendly cooperative relationship, he couldn't look down on himself like this, right? A real man never says no. But now that it's all said and done, Chen Zan feels that if he doesn't do anything, he will allow his dignity to be trampled on. Seeing that Chen Zan had fallen into silence, Lu Xiaoya couldn't help but feel a sudden pang in her heart. Could it be that she made a big joke herself? All along, she was able to have her current status only because of Chen Zan's favor. From the beginning to the end, Lu Xiaoya has been looking for opportunities to thank each other. But apart from her beauty, she has nothing to thank Chen Zan for. So, she suddenly blurted out when her head got hot just now. But this blurt made me a little regretful. If the other party didn't like this tone, wouldn't it be alienated immediately? Oops, she felt that she had made a big mistake. Just as she was thinking about explaining, Lu Xiaoya suddenly noticed that Chen Zan in the video had disappeared. Lu Xiaoya, who was a little panicked, was about to speak when suddenly there was a joking voice behind her. What did you just say? Ah, Lu Xiaoya turned around abruptly, only to find that Chen Zan had appeared behind her at some point. Suddenly, Lu Xiaoya's face became even more flushed. She suddenly raised her head, met Chen Zan's gaze and said, I said, can you do it? Fine, 2 hours later, Chen Zan reappeared in the hotel in Yuanling City with a thought. To him, this is just water for gargling after dinner. Now that the water is gone, he still has to get down to business. Because of the delay in drinking water just now, Chen Zan saw that it was already early in the morning, thinking that he could only go tomorrow. Just at this time, the notification sound in the game system suddenly resounded. Reminder: monthly point settlement. Your team ranks first in the secret realm of Flame Tyrant Castle Epic and can settle 100,000 points this month. Reminder: monthly points settlement. Your team ranks first in the Ghost Realm Epic Secret Realm, and you can settle 100,000 points this month. Reminder: monthly points settlement. Your team ranks first in the Secret Realm of Wuyun Bug Valley Epic, and you can settle 100,000 points this month. The successive reminders made Chen Zan a little dazed, but it took him a while to realize that the Secret Realm record he had done before was exactly 1 month old, and he directly settled the points. He subconsciously opened the guild interface, and suddenly a series of messages popped up one after another. Reminder: congratulations on accumulating breakthrough 1000 points, privilege upgrade, current privilege LV2 intermediate member. Reminder: congratulations on accumulating breakthrough 10,000 points, privilege upgrade, current privilege LV3 senior member. Reminder: congratulations on accumulating breakthrough 100,000 points, privilege upgrade, current privilege LV4 core member. This becomes the core authority. Doesn't it seem that difficult? Chen Zan saw that his previous LV1 authority had been directly upgraded to LV4, and his guild points had directly gained 500,000 points. He subconsciously opened the permission list of core members, and found that the guild buff bonus he had originally obtained had increased by as much as 20%. This wave alone can give him another ability to release the forbidden spell. In addition to these, the exchange discount in the guild mall has also increased a bit compared to before, from 9.5% to 20% exchange. These are real benefits. Just as Chen Zan was watching with great interest in the mall, suddenly someone sent a video request on his own initiative. Chen Zan opened it and saw that it was the old man Fengling. Feng Lao, why are you still awake so late? Chen Zan connected the video call and greeted each other with a smile. When you are older, you should pay more attention to rest, don't toss too late. Ahem, what are you talking about, kid? Feng Ling coughed dryly, slapped a small hand behind him with a slender skin and tender flesh, and quickly said seriously. Chen Zan, I came to you so late because I have an important matter to discuss with you. Seeing the old man Fengling's expression, Chen Zan's eyes also froze. What's the big deal? Haha, don't be nervous, it's a great thing for you. A great deal, Chen Zan murmured to himself in doubt, not understanding what the old man meant. Seeing this, the old man Fengling didn't continue to play charades, but said directly, have you heard of Sha Guo Tianjiao's hegemony competition? Tianjiao hegemony competition. Chen Zan froze for a moment, thought for a while and said, you mean the grand event that is held every 4 years and is exclusively for guild professionals under the age of 20? That's right, that's it. The old man Feng Ling nodded with a smile. Every time the Tianjiao competition starts, many professionals will fight for it. The reason why I contacted you is because the Tianjiao tournament will be held in a month. Quote. A month from now. Chen Zan was stunned for a moment, then frowned and said, "No, didn't we agree that it will be held every 4 years? I remember that the last one was held 3 years ago. Why is it early?" Quote, "Because of the Arcane Palace." The old man Fengling's expression suddenly became serious. The master of the Arcane Hall is a powerful fortune teller. He has spied on the fate of the Xia Kingdom, and there will be wars in the future. Therefore, this time the Tianjiao contest was held ahead of schedule. Quote, "Fate spy." This is the first time Chen Zan has heard of this term. It is obviously a special profession, and it may even be a rare hidden profession. But he was quickly attracted by the key points, and said hastily, "Old Feng, you said there will be wars in the future. What do you mean?" "I'm not very clear about the specific situation, but what the peeping master saw should not be wrong. Originally, this was considered a top secret, but I only told you because I thought you were a favored person of the gods." The old man Fengling thought for a while and said, "But don't worry, the rewards for this competition are extremely amazing in order to increase the enthusiasm of the new generation of professionals." The wind is old. Chen Zan wanted to refuse. After all, the most important thing for him now was to change his job at 4 jobs, and to find the 5 elements orb. As for the Tianjiao tournament, to be honest, Chen Zan is not very interested. After all, the rewards there were no longer attractive to him. But before he could speak, Feng Lao explained with a smile. "I know you're busy with the 4th job transfer task. But the Tianjiao tournament is a month away, so there's no rush for you. Besides, I saw that the list of prizes this time is too rich, so you can take a look first." Quote. As he spoke, he waved his hand, and a series of dazzling prize lists emerged from above. Chen Zan's eyes swept away, and a gleam of light appeared in front of his eyes. He didn't expect that even the epic suits were brought out in this competition. Not only that, in addition to the epic suit, there are various materials, equipment, and potions. Even Chen Zan, who is used to high-quality goods, couldn't help being a little dazzled. However, after looking at it for a long time, he didn't see any prizes that he was too fond of. At most it was the epic suit that could make his heart flutter. But just when Chen Zan was about to look away, in the list of materials, a round bead prize actually made his pupils shrink. This is... Chen Zan's heart skipped a beat, but on the surface he opened the list calmly and enlarged the picture. Yes, it is. He never expected that among the rewards of this Tianjiao tournament, there was actually a 5 elements orb. That's right, the 5 elements orb. No matter the size, pattern, or even the halo around it, it is exactly the same as the 5 elements orb. If it wasn't for Chen Zan who couldn't see the real thing and couldn't use the eye of Yuanchu to check it, he would have wanted to make a proper appraisal. But holding 2 5 elements orbs in his hand, he already tended that this was indeed another 5 elements orb. If he got this one, he would only have the last one left, and he could collect the 5 elements orbs. At that time, the myth secret realm would be opened, and he could receive the myth quest. Mythical level task, it is exciting to think about it. Now that it is confirmed, Chen Zan was silent for a moment, then nodded and said, "I will participate." Haha, I knew that no one could resist the temptation of an epic suit. The old man Feng Ling thought that Chen Zan had taken a fancy to the epic suit, and immediately laughed. However, if you want to participate in this Tianjiao hegemony competition, in addition to being 20 years old, there are still restrictions on our authority in Yuling Pavilion. Permission restrictions. That's right, with the approval of the Pavilion Master, the number of participants this time is limited to members above LV4. That is to say, they must be true core members to be eligible. Speaking of this, old man Feng Ling frowned. There are indeed a few new gods in Yuling Pavilion, but their time is far longer than yours. So this authority has already rushed to LV4. The reason why I told you in advance is that I want to inform you. Get ready, in 2 days I will personally take you through the guild missions, and try to reach LV4 within a month. Quote. 1 month LV4. Chen Zan looked at him suspiciously. Did it take so long? That's right. I know it's very stressful. 1 month can even be said to be very difficult for you who only have LV1 authority. The old man Fengling nodded his head heavily, but we in the beast familiar lineage have finally met a god-favored person, and we must not let you miss it easily. Chen Zan, don't worry, I have already contacted a few old buddies, and I will help you reach LV4 at all costs. Cough cough cough. Chen Zan heard that old man Feng was almost desperate, and couldn't help coughing dryly. Old Feng, I don't think so. What words? The old man Fengling stared. Do you think I'm joking with you? Do you know how difficult it is to reach level 4 authority in a month? Ah, old Feng, don't get excited, I really don't need your help. Chen Zan shook his head, and was about to tell the truth. But before he finished speaking, the old man Fengling yelled loudly, "Shut up, brat, I know that you are blessed by God, young and proud. But don't think about completing these guild tasks alone, I'm not hitting you. Just relying on you alone, let alone a month, even if you are given a year, it is impossible to reach LV4. Quote. The old man Fengling's angry beard was crooked. He never expected that what he was most worried about happened. Arrogance, the arrogance that every divinely favored person has, makes them disdain the help of others. Taking a deep breath, he tried his best to calm himself down, and continued. Chen Zan, I know you are very confident in your own strength, but this kind of thing, you still listen to me. Wait until you wake up after doing the task for half a month, it will be too late. No, Feng Lao, I said no, you are. Chen Zan scratched his head, he really just wanted to explain. But before he finished speaking again, the old man Feng Ling couldn't hold back again, and immediately said excitedly. Why don't you listen to the persuasion? What I said is very clear. You can't reach LV4 at all. No matter how many people want to find someone to take it, you can't find it. You are still refusing it. You really. Chen Zan was completely speechless now, and he didn't bother to explain to the other party. He directly opened the own guild information list and sent a screenshot. I'm telling you business, what's the use of sending screenshots? You also send me your permission level, do you think I don't know how much you are, LV4? While the old man Feng Ling was crazily complaining, he raised his hand and opened Chen Zan's screenshot. The moment he saw the screenshot, his originally angry expression froze suddenly, and then turned into extremely intense shock. LV4. You are LV4. How is it possible? The old man Feng Ling was a little awkward to speak, he wiped his eyes vigorously, and confirmed it 3 times before he believed that what he saw was the truth. He was instantly shocked. How long has this kid been in the guild? 10 days. 20 days. Go directly from a low-level member of LV1 to a core member, and rise to 3rd level. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, he wouldn't believe anything. The sky has eyes, the sky has eyes. Ha ha ha. Chen Zan looked at old man Feng and was silent for a moment, then he started laughing and crying at the same time. If he hadn't been convinced that this was a rank 8 professional boss, he would have suspected that the other party was insane. Ah, old Feng, are you alright? After watching for 10 seconds, Chen Zan couldn't help asking. Aha. Seeing this, the old man Fengling immediately came back to his senses, the excitement on his face hadn't faded away. It's okay, Chen Zan, you really gave me too many surprises. Unexpectedly, you can hit LV4 in such a short period of time. It is definitely God's blessing that my lineage of beast masters has you as a divinely favored one. Quote. Ah, don't you ask me how I got to LV4. Chen Zan originally thought that this needed an explanation, so he simply asked. Why do you ask this? The old man Fengling was stunned for a moment, then shook his head. As a matter of course, the Yuling Pavilion is a 9th-tier guild, and the professionals in it all have their own way. Even if they encounter any special tasks or events, it is very normal. Don't worry, it is enough for the professionals. Privacy, which is the basic philosophy of our guild. After confirming that Chen Zan had already qualified to participate, the old man Fengling completely relaxed. Okay, since you are qualified, then prepare for the 4th turn with peace of mind. With your strength, if you don't make it to the top 10 by then, you will always have a chance in the top 100. For a newcomer like Chen Zan, old man Fengling's expectations were not high. Okay, nothing else, I'll hang up. Chen Zan didn't say much about it. After all the guilds in the entire Sha Kingdom would participate, and there might be hidden dragons and crouching tigers somewhere. Okay, see you in a month, here comes the little one. After a casual sentence, Chen Zan saw the old man Feng Ling rushing to the side with a sullen expression, and then the picture was interrupted. Hiss. It turns out that Feng Lao's playing is so exciting. In the morning of the next day, outside the gate of the cat shop in Yuanling City, Chen Zan walked in wearing casual clothes. But as soon as he entered the door, he found that except for the customers, there was no receptionist in the entire hall to receive him. Just when he was wondering, he heard someone beside him exclaim, "Hurry up, follow up, I heard that Mr. Ling is coming, maybe I can get some rewards." "What? I haven't bought anything yet. Buy a fart, do you see a waiter entertaining you? Aren't you all waiting to curry favor with Mr. Ling? Oh, wait for me a moment." Chen Zan saw that everyone followed, so he had no choice but to follow the flow of people. It was only when I got closer that I saw, among the crowd, a short and fat young man surrounded by more than a dozen waiters, and even the manager was listening to other people's introductions with a smug smile on his face. "Mr. Ling, this is a high-level blue returning potion, and it's flavored with strawberry juice. It's not bad at all. Strawberry, I like it. Pack it up." With a smile on his face, the young man reached out his hand to grab a handful of gold coins from the job transfer space and threw them to the manager who was speaking. "Thank you for the tip." "Aha, thank you, Mr. Ling, thank you, Mr. Ling. My lord, this is an advanced blood recovery potion, and it's also made with strawberry juice." Another manager jumped in and hurriedly interjected. "Oh, strawberry flavor too. I like it, pack it." Hearing that Mr. Yanling also laughed, he grabbed out a handful of gold coins and threw them to the other party. Chen Zan just watched. As long as a waiter said a word, he could almost tip a handful of gold coins. From time to time, this Mr. Ling also sprinkled handfuls of gold coins at the flattering customers around him, which immediately caused a rush of looting. Who is this person? How could he be so taken advantage of? Standing outside the crowd, Chen Zan asked curiously. "Hush, my friend, please keep your voice down." A well-meaning person next to him quickly reminded, "This is the son of the Chu family, the first family in Yuanling City, named Chu Ling. He just turned 20 this year and has reached the level of a 4th-rank professional. 4 turns at the age of 20. Chen Zan froze for a moment. Is it so slow? PFF'd. My friend, are you speaking human language? The kind-hearted man almost spit out the water he just drank. 20 years old, turn 4, I have never dreamed of such a fast speed. Even if the speed is fast, it won't be so licking. Chen Zan was puzzled. You don't know, this young master is not only powerful and has a profound background, but also has one of his biggest hobbies, which is spending money. Ever since he knew that the Tianjiao contest was about to start, he went to major commercial shops to spend almost every day. Not only consumption, but also like to listen to people tout. As long as you are comfortable, tip the other party generously. Quote. It's really a big mistake. Chen Zan smiled and didn't intend to get entangled in it. I don't want a tip, I just want someone to receive me. Even if you are looking for a supervisor, you have to be notified. So Chen Zan squeezed towards the crowd while talking. Hey, friends, don't go, these waiters are busy asking for tips, how can they have time for you? Hearing the persuasion from the kind-hearted person behind him, Chen Zan paused, but thinking that he was really in a hurry, he could only say thank you to the other party, and continued to squeeze in. Hey, you, don't listen to persuasion and wait to be deflated. Ignoring it, Chen Zan quickly rushed to the group of waiters, and directly pulled a man who looked like a manager. Hi, I'm here to ship, please. But before he finished speaking, he heard the other party interrupt without turning his head. I'm sorry sir, I'm busy here now, please sit in the rest area over there for a while. Busy to collect tips is also called busy. Chen Zan frowned, raised his hand again and pulled at the other party. I'm here to find your supervisor, please. What please? This time, before Chen Zan finished speaking, the manager said impatiently, Sir, don't you see that I'm busy? Sit over there first, and all. This time before he finished speaking, Chen Zan suddenly raised his palm and grabbed his arm. There was only a click, and the manager, who had only turned 2, felt as if there was an iron pincer on his shoulder, and his body was forcibly dragged out of the crowd uncontrollably. Oh, pain, Master Ling, save me. In a panic, the manager struggled while calling himself a life-saving straw. He was the one who licked the most among the many licking dogs just now. Sure enough, as soon as these words came out, the smile on Chu Ling's face froze. who was enjoying the feeling of the stars holding the moon, and then raised his hand to part the crowd, and gave a low shout to Chen Zan. "Let me go." The sudden cold shout made the whole hall instantly silent, and everyone focused their eyes on Chen Zan in unison. However, from the beginning to the end, Chen Zan's face did not fluctuate at all, and he still pulled the manager towards the side. "Ignore, completely ignore." The smile on Chu Ling's face froze instantly. He, Chu Ling, was the proud son of the entire Chu family. It is also a fourth-rank professional who is expected to step into the 9th-tier guild. No one has ever dared to be so ignorant of himself. So, almost at the same time that Chen Zan was ignoring it, Chu Ling raised his hand, and a dazzling lightning flashed between his fingers. In the next moment, he flicked towards Chen Zan. Thunderbolt, an ordinary first-order lightning magic. But being able to achieve an almost instantaneous state is enough to prove that Chu Ling's is not simple. He was used to running rampant throughout Yuanling City, and he never knew what it meant to be afraid. Even in this cat business, he can still be unscrupulous, because nearly half of the annual turnover of the cat business in Yuanling City is contributed by his Chu family. And what he likes most is the feeling of watching a bunch of people willingly licking dogs around him. It's a treat. But now, someone actually ruined his enjoyment. Therefore, Chu Ling didn't hesitate at all, and directly attacked Chen Zan. With a snap, the lightning technique hit the marble floor of the hall hard across a distance of several meters. And Chen Zan himself appeared a few meters away with the manager in his hands. Chu Ling narrowed his eyes and looked at Chen Zan in the distance, and suddenly showed a look of interest. "Yes, you can hide away." In the distance, Chen Zan let go of the manager's hand and looked at Chu Ling for the first time. "You want to intervene?" His voice was calm, and he couldn't even hear any emotion or anger, but it was just such a voice that fell into Chu Ling's ears but couldn't help but make his heart skip a beat, as if locked by a terrible energy. This feeling is indescribable, like intuition. Chu Ling's heart trembled slightly. He hesitated for a moment about this intuition, and then laughed. "He licked me. Of course it was my dog. My dog. I intervene. Is there a problem?" Not only was the manager not at all annoyed when he heard that, but he nodded flatteringly. "That's right, I'm Mr. Ling's dog, why can't I take care of it?" The manager put his hands on his hips, fully interpreting the meaning of dog fighting against others. "Let's go, let me get out of here quickly. Mr. Ling has reserved the venue today, and I won't entertain you." "Haha, well said." Chu Ling raised his hand and grabbed a handful of golden coins and threw them at the manager. "I'm happy today, I've reserved the venue, let him get out of here." Seeing the gold coins scattered on the ground, the manager's eyes turned blue. He wagged his tail at Chu Ling without hesitation, and then roared at Chen Zan. "You, immediately, get out of here for me." "If I don't go." Chen Zan stood where he was, and asked calmly. "Not going." The manager snorted coldly. "I'll ask the security guard to drive you out now. Security guard, give it to me." He raised his head arrogantly and shouted to the security not far away. But before he finished speaking, he suddenly felt a blur in front of his eyes, and a figure appeared in front of him at some unknown time. Then there was a slap, and under the watchful eyes of everyone, the manager was slapped and sent flying backwards. The crowd dispersed. His body rolled several times on the ground one after another, and hit the pillar of the door with a bang. Before he even had time to scream, he passed out. The entire hall was rendered silent by this sudden scene. Only now did everyone see that standing on the manager's seat was a middle-aged man in a suit and haircut. Seeing this person, many waiters' faces changed, and they cried out in horror. "It's Director Zhu." Zhu Fuguo, the director of the local cat firm in Yuanling City, is also the regional general manager who controls the entire Linzhou. He is not only outstanding in ability, but also a professional who has stepped into the 6th rank. Strong ability, strong strength, strong wrist. The appearance of such a top 3 leader immediately silenced the entire hall. However, at the same time when everyone's eyes were focused, the executive of the top 3 turned around and bowed to Chen Zan, who was beside him, bending his body at 90 degrees. He said respectfully, "I'm sorry, Mr. Chen, for causing you trouble." Click. Everyone in the entire hall stood there in a daze as if they had been cast with petrification magic. What's the situation? Director Zhu actually took the initiative to salute the other party. How could this young man who didn't look as old as Chu Ling enjoy such treatment? You know, in the presence of Chu Ling, the other party ignored Chen Zan and took the initiative to say hello to Chen Zan. What does that mean? It meant that in the consciousness of the top 3 executives, the young man in front of him was far more important than Chu Ling. This is simply unbelievable. In the entire Yuanling city, no, in the entire Linzhou, there are not many who can surpass Chu Ling, but today I saw it. Under such an atmosphere, Chen Zan looked at Director Zhu with some doubts. You know me. Return to Mr. Chen. I received your message from the headquarters yesterday, with your photo attached. When Director Zhu spoke, his body was almost drenched in cold sweat. It's not nervous, it's scared. Originally, when he received the news last night, he thought that he was lucky and finally able to get in touch with the first black gold card customer in his life. I was so excited that I didn't sleep well all night. I didn't expect that. I just squinted for a while today when I heard someone making noise in the hall downstairs. When he arrived, he happened to see Chen Zan arguing with the manager and others. Zhu Fuguo almost peed in fear at that time, and that's why he got the slap just now. So it is. Chen Zan was stunned, and the killing intent that had been rising in his heart was also quietly suppressed. He thought that Zhu Fuguo was secretly investigating him. If it weren't for Zhu Fuguo's explanation, he might have killed him directly. Yes, Mr. Chen, I have prepared some snacks upstairs, and please go upstairs to rest for a while. Director Zhu bowed and raised his hand as a gesture of invitation. But before Chen Zan could speak, Chu Ling on the side was dissatisfied. Director Zhu, who is this person? How could you be so humble? Upon hearing this, Director Zhu suddenly turned his head and glared at the other party. Mr. Chen is a black gold client, you don't deserve to know his identity. As soon as this remark came out, the audience was in an uproar. Hiss. Everyone couldn't help but gasped, and looked at Chen Zan in surprise. No way, this boy is a black gold customer, how much does he have to spend? My God, as far as I know, there are no more than 100 black gold card customers in Xia Kingdom. Isn't this young man too ruthless? No wonder the young man didn't feel any fear at Chu Ling, it turned out to be a real dragon. Oh, I have long seen that this kid is extraordinary. Aren't you still cursing at the side just now? Get out, I was talking in my sleep. The expression on Chu Ling's face changed, and he didn't continue to speak. Although he was arrogant, he was not a fool. With a black gold card, and such a young person, the background is not simple. So after Zhu Fuguo scolded him, he didn't speak. Seeing that Chu Ling stopped talking, Zhu Fuguo didn't say much, but with a smile on his face, he extended an invitation to Chen Zan. However, Chen Zan didn't move, but raised his hand to block it. Not in a hurry. Zhu Fuguo froze for a moment, not understanding what Chen Zan meant. Then I saw Chen Zan tilting his head slightly, looking at Chu Ling. The next moment, he stepped on his feet. Boom. With a muffled sound, the floor under his feet exploded into pieces in an instant. Looking at Chen Zan again, his figure suddenly disappeared from the spot. Not good. Chu Ling let out an exclamation, and quickly backed away. At the same time, she lifted a scroll inscribed with a 6th-level defensive skill and exploded in front of her in an instant. With a buzz, a translucent magic shield instantly wrapped his whole body. Chu Ling relaxed slightly, feeling that with the 6th-level skill protection, at least there would be no major problems. However, his thoughts hadn't dissipated yet, but he saw Chen Zan appearing in front of him without warning. Then he raised his hand and punched out expressionlessly. Boom! The translucent magic shield dented inward quickly in an instant, and then shattered in Chu Ling's widened eyes. Save! He just uttered a word. Chen Zan's palm was already on his throat, and he saw him smash the opponent to the ground as soon as he raised his arm. Boom! Click! The terrifying power penetrated the ground and formed a circle of cobweb-like cracks around it. Death! It was the first time that Chu Ling felt so close. He started coughing up blood with a big gulp in his mouth, and looked at Chen Zan in horror. You, cough, broke the magic shield. That's a 6th-order magic shield. What does it mean that Chen Zan can blow it up with one punch? It shows that his own strength has surpassed the level of a 6th-rank professional. How can this be? Chu Ling couldn't figure it out, and didn't have time to figure it out. Chen Zhan's calm eyes, like the god of death, made him feel terrified. Please. Facing such a ferocious young man, Chu Ling was so timid that he opened his mouth to beg for mercy. Chen Zhan was hit hard, and did not continue to kill. After all, with so many people watching, it is against the law to strike rashly in the city. Even though he might not have any problems as a member of the 9th tier guild, at least it would add a lot of trouble. Suddenly he frowned slightly, and smelled an unpleasant fishy smell coming from under the opponent. So he let go of his hands and stood up slowly. If you want to intervene, you must have the ability to intervene. Obviously, you don't have it. After saying that, Chen Zhan turned around and walked upstairs. Seeing this, Supervisor Zhu hurriedly followed without saying a word, without even looking at Chu Ling from the beginning to the end. Knowing that Chen Zhan and Director Zhu had completely disappeared, the entire hall woke up from the silence. Hiss. What kind of existence is this Mr. Chen? Not even the Chu family to put in one's eyes. That goes without saying, it must be a member of the 9th level guild. Haha, Chu Ling is usually used to being arrogant, but this kick hit the iron plate. Didn't it mean that he will also join the 9th level guild? It's not an iron plate. HMPH, he joined. Even if he can join, it's because of the leader of his Chu family. It's gone. It's better not to talk about this kind of thing, so as not to get into trouble. Chu Ling, who was carried out, had just returned home, and drank dozens of tubes of medicine to stabilize his injury. As soon as he was okay, anger burst out of his eyes. Go and inform my uncle, let him check someone for me. The anger in Chu Ling's heart could burn up the sky. He never thought that he, the dignified son of the Chu family, would be so embarrassing in the local cat business. He was constantly killed by the opponent with one move, and even peed his pants in fright. All the humiliation has been completely attributed to Chen Zhan. But as a family son, his basic reason told him that he must first find out the details of the other party before making a move. If that Chen Zhan's background is so amazing that he can't even offend him, then he will naturally swallow this breath. If the other party is just bluffing, this matter can't be forgotten. Chen Zhan naturally didn't know that Chu Ling was thinking about him at this time, and of course he didn't care even if he knew. Because he knew that there would be similar problems when he started. However, the current Chen Zhan was different from before. In his opinion, this Chu Ling was just a fly flying around. Apart from buzzing and screaming, it can't produce the slightest effect. Mr. Chen, this is freshly ground coffee imported from Pakistan, please try it first. The two parties sat down in the private room, and Director Zhu took the initiative to introduce. Chen Zhan took a sip and nodded slightly, not bad. Seeing that Chen Zhan was satisfied, Director Zhu relaxed a little, and then said apologetically. I'm sorry Mr. Chen, today's matter is indeed because I didn't think carefully. I would like to give you a 10% premium in my own name for all your trading items this time. A 10% premium. Chen Zhan was silent for a moment, then suddenly chuckled. Director Zhu is being polite, you can't afford it personally. Can't afford it. Director Zhu nodded slightly after hearing this, and explained with a smile, Mr. Chen, you can rest assured that our Yuanling city is the core of the entire Linzhou. Although we have never received black gold customers like you, our daily turnover has exceeded the sales of 10 black gold clients have been exceeded. Although he said it euphemistically, his meaning was already obvious. That is, no matter what Chen chooses, he can afford it. Okay, since Director Zhu said so, let's take a look at the goods first. Okay, the space here is large enough, and Mr. Chen can use it with confidence. Manager Zhu hurriedly nodded with a smile. In his opinion, since Chen Zhan is so young, even if he sells it again, he will at most sell something from a gold-level secret realm. The most important reason why he treats it like this is the special nature of the black gold card itself. He even felt that it was not his own strength that could give Chen Zhan a black gold card, but the support from the family behind him. So let the other party do whatever they want. Chen Zhan didn't hesitate when he saw this, he just raised his palm, and with a buzzing, countless objects appeared in front of his eyes one after another. The smile on Supervisor Zhu's face instantly froze, followed by surprise, and finally shock, and finally he stood up abruptly from his seat, his breathing was short of breath, his heart beat faster, and he even started to tremble when he spoke. So many. Looking at the objects that almost filled the entire room, Director Zhu was completely stunned. My God, is that the light of diamond level equipment? And the 5th level skill book? Gone. Don't tell me that the shining stars are star level equipment. Mama, is there any more brilliant colorful light, history, and epic equipment than Xingyao? Ha! Director Zhu's body softened and he sat down on the ground in fright, looking at the shining hill with eyes full of horror. Epic level, more than one. 2 hours later, Chen Zan left Damao firm under Director Zhu's gesture of almost licking a dog. He didn't expect that his harvest this time would be so huge, and he directly bought 12 billion gold coins. Among them, Chen Zan followed Director Zhu's advice and kept the epic equipment and materials without selling them for money. Chen Zan couldn't help laughing at the thought of Manager Zhu being so excited that he even miscalculated several times. It is true that Director Zhu has never seen such a large transaction even though he has lived for dozens of years. While doing the calculations, he realized that Chen Zan was not joking when he said that he couldn't afford to overflow, but it was true. 10 billion gold coins, a 10% premium would be 1 billion. No matter how much this appraiser supervisor earns, he will be able to survive with several million commissions a year. 1 billion, even if he sells himself, he can't get it out. Chen Zan didn't care about this either. After all, with the skyrocketing strength and wealth, he took these things very lightly. After suddenly becoming a billionaire, Chen Zan's consumption naturally also increased. 10 billion was left to round up, and the remaining 2 billion was spent by him to buy various materials to upgrade the 6 little guys. This time, he had already made up his mind to raise the level of all 6 little guys. Whether it's the completion of the 7th link task, or the start of the mythical secret realm after Tianjiao's hegemony, he has to prepare early. Even before he left, he asked Director Zhu to prepare, and if necessary, those materials would immediately be transferred across regions from major cat companies. There is no such precedent in the entire Xia kingdom for transferring goods for one person. Director Zhu didn't intend to agree at all, but when he reported it, it didn't take long for him to give an affirmative answer. What does that mean? It means that besides Chen Zan's inhumanity, his background is also extremely amazing. Just like that, Chen Zan returned to the hotel and directly took out all the purchased materials for the little ones to eat. When seeing the levels of several little guys constantly improving, Chen Zan finally understood that the ability of money in this world is equally terrifying. Reminder: your contracted holy beast white tiger reaches LV 60, triggering God's feedback, rewards, strength plus 200, agility plus 200, spirit plus 200. Acquired skill: tiger roaring chaotic wave, forbidden curse. Reminder: your contracted beast curses the queen to reach LV 60, triggering the feedback of the gods, rewards, strength plus 150, agility plus 150, spirit plus 300. Skill acquired: source of curse, forbidden curse. Reminder: your contract beast shadow panther reaches LV 60, triggering the feedback of God, rewards, strength plus 150, agility plus 200, spirit plus 150. Acquired skill: shadow flash, forbidden spell. The 6 little guys are constantly improving at a speed that is almost visible to the naked eye, and Chen Zan is like a kind old father, sitting and drinking tea while happily listening to the notification sound from the system. Ah, what? Not enough to eat. Buy. Meow. You want more. Buy. At this moment, Chen Zan has lost the concept of owning gold coins. Almost any little guy asks, he waved his hand without hesitation, and bought it directly. On the other side, all the security guards of the Ground Cat Commercial Bank have been mobilized to continuously transport various materials mobilized from other regions at the highest level. All of this is only for one person, that is Chen Zan. Such a move naturally alarmed the Chu family, the first local family in Yuanling City, and in the Chu family's mansion, there was a figure living alone in the most luxurious villa. It is the commander of the Thunder battleship in the Palace of Arcane Law, Lord Chu. Haha, uncle, have you found out about the Chen surname? Outside the gate, before Chu Ling arrived, laughter had already come in from afar. This couldn't help him being unhappy, because just now, the uncle's personal butler actually called him here directly, saying that it was news about the person who was investigating. For many years, even though he was the most outstanding junior of the entire Chu family, he was never summoned to this villa alone by the Chu family. After thinking about it for a while, Chu Ling instinctively thought that uncle must stand up for himself this time. As soon as he came in, he saw Mr. Chu sitting upright on the sofa. Hastily bowed to Lord Chu. "Nephew, I have seen uncle." Lord Chu looked at his nephew, and with a smile on his face, he pointed to the sofa opposite. "Sit down." "Ah, thanks uncle." Seeing uncle's attitude, Chu Ling was even more flattered and nodded hastily. Her buttocks carefully landed on half of the sofa. However, as soon as he sat down, he saw Mr. Chu standing up slowly and walking in front of him. Then he raised his hand, slapped his face with a slap. Pain. The unprecedented pain and strength distorted Chu Ling's face, but unfortunately, his body was frozen in place as if he had been immobilized. He didn't even know when. He couldn't even make a sound. Snapped, snapped, snapped. Lord Chu continued to slap and slap, as if what he slapped was not a person, but a sandbag. It wasn't until half of Chu Ling's face completely turned into a pig's head, and even half of the teeth in his mouth were spit out, that Mr. Chu's palm stopped. At the same time, the skills that restricted Chu Ling also disappeared. Click. Chu Ling, who lost his restraint, collapsed on the sofa like a pile of rotten meat, looking at his own uncle with horror on his face. Woo 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 woo. But after talking for a long time, he didn't spit out a complete word. Lord Chu looked at him coldly, with an unprecedented indifference in his tone. "I hit you to let you remember what it means to say that disaster comes from your mouth." He looked at Chu Ling with eyes like two sharp knives. "You can die, but don't implicate the entire Chu family." Woo. Chu Ling couldn't explain clearly, but Lord Chu could understand what he meant. "The person you want to check is a member of Yuling Pavilion, a 9th-tier guild, and he is also a divinely favored person." Hearing the words of God's favored person, Chu Ling's pupils shrank, and his eyes suddenly widened. As the first son of the entire Chu family, he knows the gold content of these 3 words. Any divinely favored person represents the top existence in the same rank. But he never imagined that he would actually meet a God-favored person, and even forge a rift with him. At this moment, an unprecedented regret filled my heart. On the other side, Chen Zan was sitting in the hotel, watching his account with less than 5 billion assets left, feeling heartbroken again. It's only been a few hours, and 5 billion gold coins have been drained away like running water. Fortunately, his money was not in vain, and under the effect of money-making ability, the few little guys finally successfully completed the big breakthrough. Name: Chen Zan. Occupation: Mythical Beast Familiar Demigod Turn 3. Level: LV 90. Life: 4,680,000. Magic Power: 5,618,000. Power: 4,680. Agility: 3,515. Spirit: 5,618. Skills: God's Contract, God's Gift. Anchor Hand, Anchor Foot. Earth Flame Calamity, Forbidden Curse, Annihilation Starfield, Forbidden Curse, Holy Dragon Ice Cocoon, Forbidden Curse. Contract Beast: Scarlet Flame Fire Phoenix LV 90, Frost Holy Dragon LV 90, Phantom Leopard LV 90, Holy Beast White Tiger LV 90, Queen of the Curse LV 85, Holy Beast Black Tortoise LV 82. Battle Power: 500 stars. Available Attribute Points: 0. Looking at the own attribute panel, Chen Zan finally felt better. In this wave, among the 6 little guys, 4 of them were pushed to the same level as himself by his ability to spend money. Even the remaining 2 were both breakthrough LV 80. From here, Chen Zan also obtained 8 forbidden spell skills at once, as well as an attribute increase of up to 2,000 points. Now, his blood volume alone is nearly 5 million, and his mana volume is even more outrageous at nearly 6 million. This is still without considering the guild bonus increase. If you add it, your mana and HP can be increased by at least 30%, and with the increase of the Time Annihilation suit, there is also a chance to break through the 10 million mark. In this way, Chen Zan alone can release 20 chains of forbidden spells at once. With the addition of other little guys, it can even reach 30 or even 40 companies. 40 consecutive curses. If this is all smashed, Chen Zan is confident that the epic secret realm will be completely collapsed. At this time, Chen Zan, who had already completed his strength surge, had only one thought in his mind, and that was to find a place to practice his skills. So, he glanced at the own task list and whispered to himself. It's time to find the blood of justice. Rustle. The breeze turned into tender hands, stirring the green leaves and making a low-pitched sound. A giant green python poked its head out from the lush tree canopy, and its deep snake eyes instantly locked onto a walking figure not far away. In such a dense primitive jungle, walking alone is simply courting death. Any wild monster here starts at LV 90, for example, this giant python with green patterns is as high as LV 120. Such a terrifying level, even against rank 5 professionals, can easily deal with it. What's more, this young man with thin skin and tender flesh in front of him. Rustle. The sound of the leaves covered the sound of the giant python swimming. It was getting closer and closer. As long as the opponent appeared under the tree, it would launch a thunderous offensive, instantly entangle and tighten its prey, listening to the shattering of his bones' great sound, finally enjoying the meal slowly. Snapped. The giant python suddenly felt a pain in the head, as if it had been hit by something, and then it found that all the pictures in front of it disappeared. Instead, a silver gradient less than half a meter was looking at him with its head tilted, and its slightly delicate paws were still raised in the air. Hiss. The giant python was about to cry, but it didn't expect that it would be so miserable. It didn't say anything after being hungry for a few days, and it encountered such a terrible thing just as it was about to do it. It was obviously just a fat cat, but it even punched out its own intestines with one paw, but the opponent's strength was extremely precise, and now there were wounds all over his body, but there was no sign of death. At most, the hallucinations that just appeared in the mind. Okay, stop playing, get ready to continue on your way. Suddenly a voice appeared from a distance, causing Yin Gradient, who was still observing the giant python, to glance at it, and it turned into an afterimage and disappeared from the spot. Call. The evil star is gone, and the python is rejoicing for the rest of his life, but suddenly there seems to be a breeze blowing. Swish. The giant python felt his head tremble, and it split directly from the middle. It turns out that the rest of the life after the catastrophe is all a lie to the snake. The wings of the sky behind Chen Zan flapped slightly, and his figure flew up lightly. Such a vast relic forest, if you just look for it, you may not be able to find it in a month. However, the information given in Chen Zan's mission has no clues about the elven forest at all. Now Chen Zan finally understands why there is no time limit for task time limit. Because finding the secret realm itself is part of the mission. If Chen Zan had no other means, I'm afraid it would really take a long time here, but fortunately, he has the eye of Yuanchu. In addition to being able to see through the information of any item, the perception of elemental fluctuations is also extremely sensitive. Because of this, Chen Zan only needs to look for the location of the abnormal elemental fluctuations in the entire relic forest. These places are either the lairs of strange beasts, or the locations of various secret realms. It is not difficult to find the answer by removing the known secret realm information. Therefore, it took Chen Zan only one day to find 5 secret realms one after another. Unfortunately, none of these 5. If it wasn't the last one, then it should be here. Chen Zan looked at the location where the element was abnormal in the distance, and whispered to himself. Then he glanced at Xiaoyan who was hovering beside him. Since stepping into LV 90, Xiaoyan's body has become larger than before, and his wingspan has spread nearly 1 meter. Xiaoyan, tell Xiaoshui and Xiaoying not to be too crazy, keep up. Chirp. Xiaoyan uttered a cry, and quickly swooped towards the dense forest below. Except for the 2 playful little guys, Xiaoya is still lying on Chen Zan's shoulder, but now it is about 40 centimeters, and 2 dragon horns just sprouted on the little head. There are also 2 bulges like sarcoma on the back, which is 1 step closer to turning into dragon wings. As for Xiao Wu's body size, although it has grown a lot, fortunately, the opponent can freely control the size of his body, otherwise Chen Zan really couldn't carry it all the time. It's here. Suddenly, Chen Zan's eyes narrowed, and he saw that the abnormal elemental fluctuation was hundreds of meters away. So he fell from the sky as soon as he moved. This is a dense jungle, not dissimilar to the surrounding virgin jungle. There were also different wild monsters around, but the contracted beasts beside Chen Zan were already frightened and fled in all directions. Chen Zan scanned the surroundings, and suddenly frowned after a while. He was able to confirm that this is the area with abnormal elements. Logically, there should be a secret realm in this area, right? But he searched for a long time. Except for the trees, there were no other abnormal things. This is so strange. Chen Zan touched his nose, but did not leave in a hurry. The weirder the place, the more likely it was what he was looking for. Thinking of this, he suddenly had an idea in his mind and thought of a wonderful solution. If you destroy all the trees here, you should be able to find it, right? As he spoke, he flicked Xiao Wu, who was about to fall asleep, on his shoulder. Xiao Wu, change back and squash this place for me. Wu. Xiao Wu gave a naive cry, and then kicked Chen Zan's shoulders with his 4 short legs. With a whoosh, its petite body flew across the air like a shooting star. At the same time, its petiteness disappeared, and its entire body was growing rapidly at a speed visible to the naked eye. Half a meter, 1 meter, 5 meters, 10 meters, 20, 30, 50. In just a short moment, a figure of black tortoise, as large as a mountain, was 80 meters high and fell on the ground. Exaggerated body shape, terrifying weight. Almost at the moment black tortoise's body fell, countless trees could no longer bear it, and they collapsed one after another amidst the sound of crackling. Meow, meow. Xiaoying and Xiaoshui flickered up from the dense forest like 2 afterimages, and protested dissatisfiedly at Xiaowu who had changed his body shape. I was almost crushed just now. But just after protesting, the 2 little guys appeared on black tortoise's back in a flash. The huge back like a square immediately made the 2 little guys feel very novel. Even Xiaoya and Xiaoyan showed interest and rushed to black tortoise one after another. Only the little lowly, the cursed queen, floated beside Chen Zan, with her index finger on her mouth in doubt, and tilted her head to look at the little guys in the distance. Ho! Boom! Xiao Wu's figure completely fell on the ground, and then the long tail, which was as huge as a meteor hammer, swept across twice, and the surrounding trees were broken and shattered as fragile as paper. Suddenly, Chen Zan's eyes froze, and he found something unusual. While Black Tortoise was sweeping across, there was actually a towering ancient tree unscathed. No, to be precise, Black Tortoise's tail passed through its body, but other than that, it didn't damage the ancient tree at all. Is it this big tree? Chen Zan looked directly at the champion at the beginning of the year. Suddenly, a series of information appeared. Secret Realm Name. Elf Forest Epic. Level Limit. LV 90. Limited number of people. 1 person. Secret Realm Introduction. When the world changes drastically, elves who are good at magic are scattered all over the world. A group of peace-loving natural elves take root here. Keep enough goodwill, maybe you will get more surprises. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.